I'm here with Jeremy Alexander Newsom, our wealth coach. I don't even know if I like that title because you're just my homie now.
Yeah.
You're just my homie that's teaching me a lot of very important knowledge.
Dude, after that sauna session,
We're homies for life, dude.
just homies for life.
Yeah. Well, I love, and I guess it's just going to be kind of a byproduct of who you are and how you carry yourself and what you do. But the other people in my life that I'm connecting with outside of the jiu-jitsu community, we're all the same. Mm-hmm. We want a sauna. We want an ice bath. We want to do hard things. We want to challenge each other. We want to meditate. We want to talk about energy. And it's like everybody that I'm starting to align with is on that path. We got bracelets with beads on them, and like it's all that stuff. Yeah. And then I go down to California for, I don't even know what you would call ascend. I've thought about that a couple times. It's not a mastermind. It's just cool guys hanging out.
It's a strong brotherhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I walked into the room and I got invited by Mike Novak. And it was funny because, I told you the story. I thought I was just going out to dinner with Mike Novak and some of his friends. Ended up being a weekend down in Laguna Beach. And as soon as I walked in there, I just felt like, oh, I'm here for a reason. Mm-hmm. And people walk into this gym and say the same thing to me. Mm-hmm. They'll pull me aside and be like, hey, I don't know. There's a guy last night, that redheaded guy.
Yep.
And he said,
I heard him say it.
Yeah, I'm here for a reason. And it's Josh, that redheaded guy. Sorry if he may be new, but I know he has a name. So, but there's just this like intuitive knowing when you're aligning with the right people.
Yeah.
And the moment you walked into the room down in Laguna Beach, you gave me a big hug and said, oh, my brother. And I was like, oh, that's whatever that connection is. That's what I'm here for. Mm-hmm. Among other connections too, obviously, but we instantly bonded. And then you started telling me about who you are and what you do. And your mission is the same as my mission, empowering people.
Yeah.
We just have different vehicles that we do that from.
Yeah.
How I like to do the show, as you see, I have no notes. I haven't thought about anything because I just like authentic conversation.
Correct.
But I like to give the guest kind of a background of who you are, where you came from, what your mission is. And then we just have fun until 9 o'clock? You got a call?
Yeah.
We're here at 6:30 in the morning. This is the earliest episode.
I was going to ask you, is this the earliest one?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I told you one day I'm going to write a book called The 9 a.m. Millionaire.
That's right.
It's like, hey, you can make it and you can sleep in.
Yes. You should write that book.
I have to prove that first, though, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, just a little bit about who you are, where you came from, then we'll just have fun with it.
Yeah, man. My background. So I grew up, the funnest part for me, telling people I grew up a Jehovah's Witness. That's a huge portion of my identity because it was such a gift and it was such a very unique struggle in my life growing up in that cult religion. Mm-hmm. So I was in that physically until I was 24, mentally until I was 27. So.
Oh, I've never even thought about that. 3 years of breaking those patterns.
Yes. So that took time and that took awareness and a lot of healing and all kinds of fun things. Grew up in a place called Cleto, Georgia. So Cleto is like 30 minutes outside of Statesboro. Statesboro is the big town, and Cleto is where the cops don't go. So there's that road that's called Old River Road, and you don't even go past that. That's just where all the white redneck meth heads are. And I kind of grew up in that general area, roughly. And I was super happy, man, but we were just very poor, and my dad was always extremely creative. My mom and dad were hippies. My dad didn't wear deodorant, and just they were very happy, just really, really poor.
Uh-huh.
We lived in a single wide trailer treehouse. Like in my living room was 2 trees. Like it was a Swiss Family Robinson redneck village.
When's the last time you've actually laid eyes on that house?
Well, unfortunately, it's probably about 13 years ago.
Okay.
So when we left, one of my brothers lived in that house, and the house was made out of, again, mostly wood that was found and recycled and just shackled together with nails. The guy that did not know. Or
That's what I was just going to say. Was your dad a carpenter or was he just winging it?
Oh, winging it. He's like, this should hold it, right? Like that's kind of how he did it.
But dude, one thing you said he was happy.
He's so happy, man. We were so happy.
That's
Dude,
pretty cool.
my childhood has always been happy. I've always been positive. I've always had this energy where I'm just super unique and weird and kind of strange, but my vibration's always been good. And I grew up in love, man. Like that's the thing is I've learned that, right? Money doesn't equal love. Love equals love. Money equals money. Two different things, two different energies. But love is I was always loved, always happy, always in bliss, very free. And I grew up in pure freedom. So my mom and dad, they didn't care where I was. Like I would come home, that was it. I would leave. I sometimes didn't go to school. They didn't care.
And you know,
amazing.
a lot of people hear that and they think that's like almost dysfunctional.
Yeah, it was a little bit
Well,
from societal
it
standards.
seemed to work out pretty well, you know, like kind of allowing you to find yourself perhaps at a young age.
100%. I mean, 6, 7, 8, 9, just doing whatever I wanted to do. There's plenty of times where we didn't know if we were going to eat or not unless we went out and caught some fish.
Okay.
Hey, you want dinner? Go catch it.
Which is funny because that's been the human experience for millions of years.
Correct. Yeah.
And now in the last 100, that's weird.
Right. And I got to experience that in the 90s, which was, amazing. So
What year were you born?
88.
Okay.
Yep. So all through the 90s, like that was the glory years for me. And then we moved from Georgia to Florida in 2000. And I went to the University of Florida to get a finance degree because I was enthralled with the stock market since a young age. And I just obviously learned nothing in college about what I currently do.
Bro, you know what my degree is in?
I don't.
Exercise physiology. And I've never used one thing from college
You're kidding.
as a gym owner. Not one.
What?
I just took it because it's like, okay, I'm interested in this.
Yeah.
The military is going to pay for it, so let's
Yeah.
get a degree.
I exercise.
I exercise.
This should be easy.
Physiology is a special word.
It is.
And no, not one thing.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
So I'm just echoing your sentiment.
Yeah,
I think everybody goes to college, and sure, it might teach you like routine or discipline, things like that. But applying what you learn in your chosen profession, I bet more people than not don't apply it.
I would say a vast majority. Yeah. 85%. I mean, the people that do they're probably extremely specialized.
Yeah,
And
you're a lawyer or whatever the case may be.
you're in medical, you're a dentist, you're doing something with the human body probably.
Yeah,
That's it. Those are the people that are going to have to go for more than 4 years.
yeah.
Right. They're not knuckle draggers like us. Like these people actually studied and opened books and read because like, if I get this wrong, someone could die.
Well, and here's another thing, and I don't know if I should be proud of this or not, but I never read any of my textbooks, and I graduated with a 3.8. And it's not because I'm a genius; it's because it's just a game. You know, that's what you figure the game out, and it's like, oh, okay.
You're speaking to my soul, man. You know what's amazing? I realized this at a very early age. I had an incredible grade throughout my entire school career. I knew who gave me the grades. I figured that system out.
So you figured the game out.
So I said, oh, wait a minute. That person, her or him, they give me the grades. They dictate and determine what goes on this piece of paper. I'm just going to be extremely nice to this person and love on them and care about
Make them feel bad if they give you a bad grade.
Every time I came into class, Miss Johnson, huge hug, big smile. What do you need? What can I help you with? Just, I was teacher's pet for sure. But
But that's
single
also
class,
like, that's also your energy too.
Yeah.
It's not just like brown nosing
Nope.
to brown nose. It's like,
Nope.
be authentically a happy, high vibration person,
Yep.
and people are going to want to take care of you.
That's
Imagine
simple.
that.
I learned that at an early age, and it worked out. So I mean, I always had good grades, went to school, did all the things. But
Can I request the Forrest Gump story for listeners?
Yeah.
Because I love the Forrest Gump story.
thanks, man, thanks. The reason I went to college, that was one of the big reasons, is Forrest Gump actually did go to college. He went to Alabama. But when I first watched that movie, this is 1994. I was watching this on a brown couch that we found on the side of the road. It was me and my oldest brother, Jerry Roger. So it was my dad, Jerry Roger, and myself, and we're watching this on a stolen VCR.
Was it the most comfortable couch you've ever been
Oh,
on?
dog. Yeah. I slept on that couch until I was 12.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't have a bedroom.
That is awesome.
So we're sitting on my bed. Yeah. That's what I should have said.
I'm in bed with my dad.
And I'm sitting there, we're watching this movie.
This is like the the Deliverance
Yeah. Dude.
setting.
I grew up 30 minutes south of where they filmed Deliverance. Yeah. Like, And my brother Jerry Roger played the banjo. Like it's funny. It's a weird life. It's cool. Watching this film, and about 81% of the way through the movie, it changed my life. And I cry every time I watch it presently. Like,
I bet, dude.
because I know that was the most remarkable turning point. Because when you're 5 or 6, this is when you start forming your primary questions. This is when you start really getting conscious about your beliefs and your ideas. And these are when things start forming. Your brain and all of your subconscious beliefs start forming between like 0 and 5. But 5 or 6 is where you start forming conscious beliefs.
Okay.
Right? Where you know why, and you can remember why, and you can remember moments why this was the moment that created this. But generally, the vast majority of humans I've ever had these discussions with don't have a lot of memories between 0 and 5.
Mm-hmm.
You can have 1 or 2, but they don't have tons. But after the age of 6, you have all kinds of memories. So this was one of my first primary memories, top 5. And in the movie, Forrest Gump says, Lieutenant Dan invests into some kind of fruit company and said, we don't have to worry about money no more. So I said, good, one less thing. And when I heard the phrase, we don't have to worry about money anymore, I'd never heard that. That was a paradigm shift for me. And I asked my dad, hey Dad, what's he talking about? What is investing? What's the fruit company? And my dad, to the best of his ability, talks about the stock market. He knew what it was. And he knew what Apple was, which was the fruit company. So he was aware of that. And he told me, he's like, people are going to buy more computers. That's what Apple makes computers. And one day I'm going to have one. And he did. He ended up buying an Apple computer, which is awesome. And he said, one day we're going to have one and more people are going to buy this. And the more people that buy these computers, the more valuable that stock's going to become. And so I was like, well, let's do what Forrest Gump did. Like, let's buy some shares of Apple.
Yeah, because we don't have to worry about money no more.
Yeah.
And you said you grew up poor.
Yeah. I was like, bro, so let's do this. Like, we'll never have to worry about money ever again.
So even though you were happy, because you really emphasized that, was it still apparent that there was a lack of money?
Yeah.
Like, did you eat, like you said, if I want to eat, I have to catch a fish.
Yep.
But there was an awareness around that? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. And that's an interesting piece, right? Because we can still be happy. That's why I say money can sponsor happiness, right? It can buy short-term happiness for sure. But if you have no money, you can still be very, very happy, but you're not going to be fulfilled.
Okay.
And so there's a little bit of a difference there, right? You're always going to have this yearning for more, even if you're extremely happy and totally content and wildly aware that you don't have tons of money. You will be happier when you have money.
Well, I'm sure most people in life have went through a phase where they are experiencing a lack of money. And it's a stress you can never really set down. At least for me, like that was something that I noticed. Like when me and Jenny were struggling, it's like 24/7. There's that monkey on your back. That's like, oh, because I had to borrow money for a while when we first opened this place up, which is like not only embarrassing, but it's like compounding stress. And it's like, oh, when are we going to start making enough to stand on our own 2 feet? Oh, yeah. Not this month. I guess we're going to look at borrowing more. And it's just eats your soul slowly.
It does. It does. To your point, it's a monkey on your back, man. Like you're going to feel a certain level of pressure and trepidation and not enough is how you'll feel. And what was even more important than that was in that scene of the movie, right after Forrest starts talking about Apple shares, he said, well, Mom said there's only so much money a man needs, and the rest he's just showing off. So he went and built a school, a church, and a hospital. And then he retires Bubba's mom, so she doesn't have to work in anyone's kitchen ever again. And I also saw that he made a bunch of money. He's happy. He's feeling joyful. And then he does amazing things with that money.
Yeah.
And again, I love my dad. My dad was always talking about helping people. But he never did.
He didn't have the capacity.
He didn't have the capacity, right? He would physically help people for sure. Like I did that my whole life. I won't move ever again. Like when I say move, I mean like move my furniture out of my house. My dad's love language was moving people.
Okay.
We had a moving company that was free. It was like a donation only moving company. I have probably, and I'm not exaggerating, moved 100 families in my lifetime.
Man, that's something that we share then, because that's
really.
I hate moving so much. And like when me and Jenny moved to California, and when we moved, especially when we moved home from California,
Yeah.
we had nobody to help us.
Ooh.
There's me and a pregnant woman carrying furniture.
Ooh.
And so I made a commitment with myself. Anytime my friends move, if they need a hand, I'm there.
Yeah.
And so I've moved a lot too, even though I don't enjoy it.
Yep.
It's not much stress when it's other people's stuff, though.
That's fair.
But your own stuff, it's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare, man. And so I was there. I did that so much with my dad, and oh man, it was just he showed me how to work. But that was his love language. He never was able to give with money. He would help out my very close intermediate family if they needed $20 for light bills or like food or whatever. He was very generous, but to the point of he always wanted to give more and just couldn't because we just didn't have the means to. Until much later in life, right? When I was like 20, 21, 22, he started figuring out money. And then he got diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And so that was a whole interesting thing because, so my dad, love my dad, dude. Like, just such an incredible person. When I'm 19 and a half, I start figuring out how to trade in my 401k. Just tell you how awesome my dad was, dude. Like, I'm trading through my 401k at work. And I think most people listening probably know what a 401k is, but just in case you don't, get one, right? Like a 401k is a work program where you can put money in post-tax or potentially pre-tax, and it's an incredible savings account that very often your company will match. So if you put in $100, they'll put in 30. And so you have $130. That $30 came from your company. And so you can keep putting that in, and you can eventually trade in this 401k and create more wealth faster. So
I know I wasn't in the private sector, but with the feds, they have like, it's called TSP.
yeah.
And it's like 20, 30, 30 or something.
Isn't that tax savings plan?
Yeah. Thrift saving plan.
Thrift saving plan. Okay.
But I've never heard of people like having the autonomy to be able to trade within their own savings plan.
Look into it.
So that's more common than people probably realize, huh?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So it's called a self-directed 401k or self-directed IRA or self-directed TSP. Some people will allow it, some people won't, and that's okay. But look into it because it very often can happen, actually. So I started trading in this thing. The trade that changed my life. I Googled. This is my process. I went, which silver stock to buy. So I heard that silver was going up on the news. Typed that in. The first stock that came up was First Majestic Silver, ticker symbol AG. AG is the periodic table symbol for silver. All right, cool. I log in. I had $9,000 in my 401k. The stock was 9. So I said 9,000 divided by 9 equals 1,000. That's how many shares I bought.
Don't challenge me with math beyond that.
That's it.
Right?
That's all we're going, buddy. But you did nail it. Mr. 3.8. Bought 1,000 shares.
Jenny may or may not have helped me with some of my math assignments.
1,000 shares. Stock went from 9 to 12. How much did I make?
Yeah, you're rich. $3,000.
Bro, that $3,000, that happened in like 2.5 days, 3 days. Which that amount of money was more than I made in a month at work.
Yeah.
And that was a big shift for me. I said, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, something's up here. So I took that 12,000, did the exact same thing. 4 days later, First Majestic Silver is back at 9. So I just did it again.
You hit it.
I just kept doing that process 4 months. And I took my $9,000 investment, turned it into $30,000 in my 401k. I was like, I'm the richest human being on earth. Like, everyone bow to me. I sent these forms to my dad. And my dad was like, son, this is awesome. It's like, can you do this with my money? I was like, yeah, I think so. And so he had some money saved up. His entire life savings was, at this point, he worked for a company. He did have an IRA, and he had $105,316 to his name.
How much again?
$105,316. Yep.
A decent chunk.
A decent chunk, man. Right at 6 figures. Like, so that was, and he really worked his face off for that. That's when we moved from Florida. He amassed that in about 8 years.
Okay.
So from when I was 12 to about 20-ish, like 19-ish, that's when he did it, which is awesome. So he really started crushing it. He gave me his login, username, password to Charles Schwab. And at the time, there's no 2FA, there's no, email factor. It just log in, boom. And in his account. And I turned that into $130,000, like a month and a half. And here's the math. the stock was trading at $10 at the time. I went 100,000 divided by 10, shoved it in there, 10,000 shares. And so now every time it moves $1, how much money am I making?
$10,000.
That's right. I was like, this is nuts. So then he goes and tells some of his buddies.
And 10,000, and it goes up by $1
daily.
It
moves up and down a day. Now there's times where it was down, but it would move up and down.
How did you intuitively know? Because I know like now you have all these systems, you can read charts. When you look at a stock chart, it's speaking to you in a way that 99.99999% of human beings don't understand. Were you seeing patterns and whatnot early on, or were you just kind of intuitively feeling it?
Neither.
I
was doing math, dude.
Okay.
I was doing the calculator. I was logging in and buying things.
Okay.
That was it. I was doing division and just buying as much as I could afford, and then just kind of hoping, I guess. But it worked out.
Yeah.
It was going up. And so a couple months later, the account's at 150. Thankfully, we did pull some money out. I really tell this part of the story, but we did pull some money out. I sent him on a trip to Puerto Rico and Spain and Istanbul, and I'm buying first class tickets, and I'm buying like camera equipment for him. And our relationship starts becoming a lot better, a lot closer. We're having conversations every week. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And he tells 3 buddies. Those 3 buddies call me. What? This is awesome. You're going to school for finance. You must have figured out the stock market. You got the secret gift. I was like, yeah, of course. Right. So they give me their.
Dude, hey, jiu-jitsu, right? As soon as you like.
I'm a white belt.
But as soon as you can you beat up your first person, you're like, oh, I think I got this.
Yeah. You start beating up everybody.
Yeah. Like it starts to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And, these 3 guys reach out to me and they put in $100,000 each. They give me their logins. I tell them it has to be Charles Schwab. They go, cool. Charles Schwab, each one has 100. So I end up taking this money, doing the exact same thing I'm doing with First Majestic Silver, which is dividing the number and just buying that amount of shares. First Majestic Silver ends up going to like $33 a share. And over the course of a couple months, like 9 to 10 months, I turned 400,000 to 1.2 million.
At 19.
So I'm
20.
I'm late 20s now.
Oh, late 20s now. Okay.
Late 20s. And now I'm
But
coming.
still just that same process, huh?
Yeah, same process. Which, you want to hear something crazy? Do you think that process works today?
I bet you're probably going to do it this afternoon.
Yeah. And not only that, I bought, guess what stock yesterday?
Silver.
Yeah, First Majestic Silver. It's still around.
Okay.
I bought it at $5.55. Right? Except this time I'm in 30,000 shares. If that goes to $6.55, which it will, I'll sell. I'll make $30,000. And that might take a week or today.
Yeah.
But it's going to happen. Which is wild. So the process still works to this day.
I want to make sure that we don't miss the part where you looked at your dad and said, we're going back to when you were a boy, and said, can we invest in the fruit company? Because that's an important part of the story. Because before you were trading the silver, that was literally your first experience with the stock market.
Yeah.
At 6.
Yeah. I understood what it was.
There's not another human being on the earth right now that started investing at 6. I think that's probably fair to say.
Might be.
You know?
Might be. Yeah. It was, and it was so cool. It was so cool. Because I remember him telling me, like, I was asking him over and over and over and over. You know how 6 years old are.
Right? Yeah. Once you have an idea, just fucking bombarding him.
All day long. That's all you're talking
about. So
he
helped you. He said he matched you and you earned some money.
Yeah. He told me, he's like, listen, you bring me some money. I'll match it dollar for dollar and we'll buy some apples.
Thinking you're going to bring him $45 or
$6. Yeah. And so as the kids will say these days, I was like, bet.
Yeah.
It's on. And I started selling blackberries door to door for $1 a bag. And my sales pitch was impervious, right? I would go up to the door and I would say, hi, my name is Jeremy Alexander Newsom. I just handpicked these organic blackberries for you. They're only $1 a bag. How many would you like to buy? And at 6, no shoes, no shirt.
They're buying you.
They're going to buy those berries too.
Yeah.
And old ladies would give me 5, 10, 20. So I made $1,500 in the summer of 1995.
6 years old, dude.
And my dad was like, he thought I stole it. And I told him, and So he called my uncle and had to borrow money from my uncle. We bought $3,000 of Apple in
Oh, so
1995.
because he said, I'll match you,
Yeah.
he figured it out and he borrowed to match you.
Oh, first time anyone's ever done that. Thank you for that gift. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Because he was like, oh, shoot, I gave my word to my son. I mean, as a father, for all my fathers out there who are listening, or moms,
Yeah.
you give your word to your kid. What are you going to do?
Yeah. You have to follow through.
You're going to figure it out.
You have to follow through.
But that linkage, like I got goosebumps, like that, it's a very, very, very powerful thing to do in life is to state something with a 100% certainty and guarantee. And when you state something, you're putting your stake in the ground. And you're saying, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
And so my dad gave me his word. And so he would have done anything to figure that out. And I didn't know that he borrowed my money from my Uncle Billy until like 10 years later.
Oh,
He ended up
wow.
telling me, but I didn't know it at the time. He had $1,500, $3,000 worth of Apple in 1995, the bottom, the absolute lowest that Apple's ever been in human history.
Dude, wow.
Dude, crazy.
And how long did you? So once he did that, all right, we got. How many shares does $3,000 get you back then?
I don't remember exactly, but I believe it was close to 800. I mean, the stock wasn't very expensive. Like it was almost a penny stock at the time. It was like $4, $5.
And what was the mechanism for buying? Was there already online brokerages back then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there were just starting to show up, but he had to go to a Charles Schwab, which he just stayed with forever, right? There was a Charles Schwab office in Statesboro.
Oh, I see.
Yep, so he drove to there and gave him that money.
Do those even exist anymore?
They actually do.
Okay.
Yeah, physical brokerages like for Edward Jones, Charles Schwab. There's not many of them, but they're there.
Were you involved in that process?
No.
Okay.
No, I wasn't
He just
involved in
went
that
and got it for you once you guys
Yep.
landed on that. Okay.
Yeah. So again, this is all kind of like hearsay. Like I'm not entirely sure exactly how he ended up buying it, but I know we had the shares because at 12, when we moved from Georgia to Florida, like he showed me the statement. He printed it out at, at a hotel that we were staying at that had free breakfast.
Oh, dude, score.
Come on, Dad. And
No fishing today,
and that $3,000 turned into 12.
which is massive.
Oh my gosh. And he's like, this is the greatest investment you'll ever make in your life. Like, we need to take this money, we need to sell it and put it into something safe. So we put it into bonds. Something called II bonds, which are still around. II bonds mature in 30 years. You buy them at face value. So for example, $100, you buy a $100 bond and in 30 years, hold on. Yeah, I know you're excited.
Yeah.
30 years, in 3 decades, that'll become worth $200.
Oh, so
Good old
it's
II bond,
It's
dude.
probably safe to assume that the II bond did not outperform Apple.
Very safe to assume. Very safe to assume, man. I ended up selling those bonds at 18 when I moved out. I moved out of my house the day I turned 18 because we had an air conditioning, never used it. I was like, I want air conditioning, Dad. He was like, when you own your house, you can do what you want, right? Kind of thing. I was like, I will, fine. So I moved out the day I turned 18. I sold those bonds. I bought them. This is not a joke. Not a joke. I bought them. I spent $12,000 to buy these bonds at 12. At 18, 6 years later, they were worth $12,082.
And what have you calculated what Apple would have been worth if you just sat on that?
$34 million.
That's today, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
What about when you sold those? When you sold those bonds? If you just not transitioned them from Apple to bonds.
Wow.
Because even then, it probably would have been pretty substantial, yeah?
Substantial. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it's a $30 million mistake, that transfer. For sure.
Here's the thing, though. Like, I'm assuming in your line of work, you can't really play the coulda, shoulda, woulda, because that will fucking eat you up.
Everyone does, though. Everyone does in life, right?
Yes.
And so to your point, the coulda, should have done this.
Because, of course, hindsight, look what Apple did. But yeah, it's easy to say that now because, like you said, every human on earth has a pair of AirPods.
Yeah. Yeah.
But back in the late 90s, like, who really knew where it was going to go?
But there's so much we can learn from that. There's so much that we can distill from those misses and from those losses. Because now I get to look back and go, why did I buy Apple? And okay, it was on a film that was global, that was worldwide. Everyone's seen Forrest Gump. The guy won Best Actor for it. So
So do you think that played a role in its skyrocketing?
100% it
Wow.
did.
Okay.
Yeah, because now you're getting media attention,
Yeah.
right? I don't know if the
I wonder if they paid for it.
I don't know. That's a you're asking questions I've never been asked before. That's a great question. I hope they did.
And if they did, good on them. Yeah.
Now, I'm gonna ask you a trivia question. So, another Tom Hanks movie. There's another company that's very, very publicly mentioned and noted in the movie, and it was also made in the late 90s. What company is it?
It's Castaway.
You're good, buddy.
Yeah. It's UPS, right?
Almost the other one.
Oh, FedEx?
Yeah,
That's right. That's right. It's FedEx.
FedEx. So again, that
Man, I had
was
to
good.
close my eyes for that one.
You did
because
That
I
was
felt
awesome. You're solid. So again, just if we think about movies right now, in today's day and age, you're listening to this, it's 2025, 2026, maybe 2027. What brands, companies are they talking about in media popular culture? Right? Movies, shows, TVs. Like what brands are people using and talking about? What brands have become a verb?
it. Yeah.
And those are the companies that are never going to go away, or they won't going to go away for a very, very, very long time. So, for example, hey, let's go take an Uber. That's a verb.
That
That has
yeah,
made it
that's
into the
interesting.
English lexicon.
It's like Kleenex,
Let's go Google this.
you know? Yeah, let's go Google this.
When you use those words, and that just becomes part of natural, normal verbiage for all Americans, that stock's not going to go anywhere. Let's
Yeah.
Netflix and chill.
And nobody says let's go take a lift.
Not a single soul in this world. And if you do, I'm not going to be your friend.
Hey, unfriending you, not on Instagram in real life.
Yeah, in real life, I'm
Delete-
never going to talk to you.
deleting your contact information.
I have seen people in my life go, hey, let's go get an Uber. And they pull up Lyft. Like they don't even say the word Lyft.
Yeah,
No one's lifting anywhere.
man, fucking Uber when they became mask Nazis. That was almost their downfall.
Almost. It got really
Pulled
close.
their head out of their ass.
But yeah, there's only a couple states.
Okay.
Yeah, there's only a couple
Well,
states.
my state was one of them. Shocking.
Yeah.
The West Coast.
The West Coast, man.
I love that you said like obviously you're not gonna like coulda, shoulda, woulda is a bad place to arrive at, but also don't mistake that for avoiding lessons learned. And
Amen.
there again is jujitsu.
Yes.
It's like, hey, I got swept and then I got submitted. Am I going to be sad about that, or am I going to say, where was his foot and how did he elevate me? Mm-hmm. It's the same concept, bro.
Correct. Because we can cry about it. And then you become a victim.
Yeah,
Okay, cool. So do you have a choice? Victim or victor?
there you go.
Which one are you going to be?
Yeah, of course, Victor.
And at that point, if you're going to choose, I want to become victorious, I want to learn from this, just learn from the lesson. The most expensive lesson that you'll ever learn is the one that you repeat. Just figure out a way not to repeat it.
Yeah.
To the best of your ability. Obviously, you're going to get swept. Not you, but
Oh, dude, I had a guy come in here and sweep me like I was a white belt 3 weeks ago. So the lessons continue.
yeah, I know. But it's like we have to sit down and just have fun with it and just kind of understand it and be in it. And as we do it, the lessons in those moments are so majestic. There's always things to learn. And the book is called Think and Grow Rich, not Work Harder and Make More Money. So if we sit down and think, spend a whole 17 minutes with no cell phone and just your room and a chair and just think about it. I mean, that's why Socrates and Aristotle were so smart. It's all they did all day. Like Isaac Newton, all he was doing all day was thinking, just walking around in a farm and thinking. Like that's all they're doing. They're downloading. They're downloading information from the records that live in the sky.
Yeah.
And they're putting it into their brain and they're seeing and knowing and feeling things.
Our listeners are well aware of the Akashic records.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I figured they were, buddy. So you're pulling down this information. It's been there. That'll always be there. That always has been there. And any moment in time, you can tap into that, right? So ultimately, having the ability to be aware that that exists, and most importantly, that that's the way that you become rich, is by thinking. Because if you make one really, really powerful, proper action versus something that has zero impact, zero fulfillment, zero drive, zero return, nothing important, that $12,000 would right now probably be like $27,000. right?
Yeah.
That's an example of a zero return, right? We had a guy yesterday at the mat was talking about high yield savings accounts.
Yeah.
He came up
The
to
guy
me,
right next to me, right?
love that dude.
Yeah, Ricky.
Yeah,
I love that dude too.
And so Ricky came up to me and was like, thank you for challenging me on that. He goes, no one has ever told me that high yield savings accounts suck ass. I was like, you're welcome. Because he had an entirely different vision for where his money wants to go. He wants his money to be safe, incredible, but he wants his money to expand for his children, who are, one of his sons is about to turn 21 and graduate from college and all these things. And he wants to make sure that his son's taken care of, but he wants that money to grow. And I was like, buddy, at 4% a year, it ain't going to grow. I mean,
yeah, it might be safe, but it's safe and slow.
super safe and super slow. And that's awesome if you have $10 million,
Yeah.
but not 100,000. Like what's $4,000 going to do in a year?
Yeah.
Nothing. That's not going to do anything that you want to do. It's not going
It's not going to change your life.
No, it's not going
Yeah.
to provide any type of acceleration or scalability.
Well, and Ricky is actually retiring from the military this year.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, and from experience, being in the military or even as part of the federal government with the TSP, you just kind of like, oh, you'll match it. Okay. And then when I retire, I'll have $1 million. Like, they have all these formulas that sound nice, but they are thinking 30 years ahead.
Right.
And that's just kind of the culture there.
Mm-hmm. And that's okay. I mean, I think that's great because people are putting money away. People are saving money, right? They are putting their money in their TSP and it's growing over time, which is remarkable because if people didn't do that, they wouldn't have any money. In savings. So it's like incredible. Take advantage for every single person listening. If you have a 401k, if your company or your employer is matching anything, yes. So yes to that program.
But then, like you said, take control of it as well.
Learn, start studying, start understanding because most people never study money. Mm-hmm. That's one of the gifts my dad gave me, right? 13, 14 years old, I was driving a car one day. I was like, Dad, what should I do with my life? And he said, study money. Because a lot of my buddies were going to JROTC and, you know, they're trying to get into the military. And all the guys in my family attempted to do military. And I was like, should I go to the military? It's like, no. Study money over and over and over. And I didn't know what that means. I didn't know what that meant. So I started reading books with the word money in the title or something money-ish related in the title. That's all I knew.
As much as I've always preached on the show that I think the military can be a very good experience for a lot of young men, I think it might have killed your vibe.
It wouldn't have worked for me.
You know what I'm saying? It's just,
wouldn't have
it
worked
ain't
for me.
you, dude.
It's not me.
Yeah, fuck that.
In the goodest of ways possible. Like I don't follow rules well.
That's yes.
Like if someone else tells me what to do, I'm gonna have a problem with that.
Dude, being defiant.
Yeah.
I say it all the time on the show. The spirit of defiance
Yeah.
should be something that is in the heart of every American. Mm-hmm. And that's like, that's why I have William Wallace behind me.
Our boy WW.
You know, we're talking about like being inspired as a child. When I was 14 and I watched Braveheart, you want to talk about the moment? And now next time I watch Braveheart, I'm going to look at the clock because I need to know what minute it is.
Yeah.
Because you already referenced the minute of Forrest Gump that changed your life. But when that dude slit his wife's throat and said, let that scrapper come to me. Like, I'm a fucking tough guy. Mm-hmm. Oh, dude, I felt fucking something in my heart that's like, I want to fucking eliminate bad human beings from the face of planet Earth.
Yeah. How old were you when you first
14.
saw it? Yeah.
And me and my mom went to the theater.
Oh, wow.
And every time, same thing. Every time that scene, it's just like, let's go, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck these people trying to control us, telling us how to live. Because remember, they had the English nobles living on each one of their compounds, and they had to pay homage or pay taxes to them. They had sexual rights to their women, all that stuff. That's like, you know what? Fuck you. Mm-hmm. It feels good to feel that.
Yeah, it does. You know, this is funny. One of the parts of Braveheart, because that Braveheart's like my third favorite film on earth. Love Braveheart. But the part that I love the most, and this is a totally different energy, is when the guy knows French and starts hitting on that unbelievable smoke show.
But I am savage. Yeah,
Yes,
that's
yes,
right.
Yeah, and he's like speaking French and like, but he's seducing this woman with his just pure masculinity.
Yeah, dude.
That's when I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna get an absolute smoke show who speaks a different language than me, and I'm gonna learn her language. I'm gonna impress her.
And boom, another thing that came to fruition.
Correct.
It's so awesome, man. So yeah, then 19 through really, I mean, you referenced 19 through 27. You were doing all the stuff, trading for your dad's friends, starting to put it all together. But I'm sure, or maybe I'm not sure, but every single story where everything starts to work out usually falls apart a time or two.
Here's the falling apart story, buddy. Hope your listeners are still here.
Yeah.
Man.
Bro, they love this episode.
My 21st birthday. Dog. Silver collapses. I bought silver at this highest price ever.
Uh-huh.
I own the Guinness World Book of Records, unofficially, for buying silver at the highest price of all time. And I bought it with something called call options. So call options are like a bet. Essentially, it's like, if it goes up, these things go up a lot. And that's, I started playing around with these things to learn what they were with a lot of money. And I did the exact same math. I divided how much money I had by how much these things cost. So I was buying hundreds of thousands of contracts, just, and silver.
And is this for you, or are you playing with other people's money too?
This is 20. I'm still playing with all these guys' money.
Okay.
Right, I got $1.2 million.
That's even more stress.
Yeah.
Because you go broke and you're fucking,
Who cares?
you'll figure it out.
20. Yeah, 21. But so I'm playing with other people's money, including my dad. And I buy silver at this highest price ever with call options that expire that week. And I lose $1.2 million over the course of a week and a half.
Oh, fuck, dude.
And the best part was my dad's money, like his retirement money, he put his name on the line for me.
Yeah.
And I lost all those guys' money. And so I had to call each one of them, obviously, right? And go, hey, I lost your money and I'm sorry. And I'm going to pay you back. And I know that sounds crazy, but I'm still going to pay you back the interest that I told you I would make for you. Because I told everyone I was going to give them like 20% return.
Uh-huh.
And they said, well, we're angry. We're really mad at you. Well, I mean, what are we going to do? We trusted you with our money and we're never going to trust you again until you give us our money back. And I was like, I understand that. And I'm sorry. And that was rock bottom for me because I had never lost before in my life up until that point, like really lost.
Yeah.
Like, I lost a football game. Like I never lost. I never put my reputation on the line. And this is what most people are afraid of right here, Greg. Most people are afraid of saying, yes, committing to something. Yes, I'm going to do this. Yes. And then fucking failing, being at zero, having nothing, having all of it taken away because you're not good enough and you're not smart enough. But that was the truth. I wasn't good enough and I wasn't smart enough. And to get kicked in the absolute face and recognizing that I'm not good enough or smart enough for the first time and having my dad know that was rock bottom.
Wow.
And man, rock bottom's a cool place to be. Like I should be a geologist. I've been at rock bottom so many times, because I had to learn and I called my dad and I called everyone. And when I called my dad, he was the last person I called. Preface of the story, I was hammered in Daytona Beach calling these guys.
Getting the liquid courage.
Getting the liquid courage.
Hey, listen.
Listen, so here's the thing, dude. I lost your money, right? And my dad said, well, son, I've been broke before and I'm broke again, and that's okay.
Man, that had to give you some comfort around it.
It did. And he said, I would love it if you find a way to pay me back one day. And I was like, oh, I will. It's coming.
Uh-huh.
And so at 21, the button in me, that savage button that all men should have at some point, clicked on. And I became a fucking maniac. 9, 10, 12 hours a day, every day. All I'm doing is trading and charting and looking. All my credit cards, all my 401ks, everything got liquidated, pulled out. I got a super small apartment. And I was reading books, studying like an absolute maniac. And I had no clue how to get more money other than work. Mm-hmm. And so I'm working. I brought a cot to Nationwide Insurance so that I could work as much as humanly possible. They were offering something called double overtime. to work more? I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that.
So you literally lived there.
Lived there. Lived in Nationwide Insurance and eventually convinced them to build a shower. I'm not, dude. If I'm lying, I'm dying, bro. Like, I was there so often. I was making as much money as I could to just pay off bills and to pay off debts and to like study. I was buying courses. I was doing everything to learn and study. I became obsessed.
And what year was this now? What are we at?
So this is 2011, 2012.
Okay. So now you have internet resources everywhere too.
Mm-hmm. Yep. This is 2011, 2012, 2013, like this little area of my life. And so I'm grinding. And then one of the guys at my work like hears me talking about something one day and he goes, I got a buddy who might give you some money to trade with. I was like, really? He's like, yeah. He's like, I have a friend, like I know a guy. So he connected us and I met this guy in a Kroger parking lot. He drives up in like a Mitsubishi and like 3 of his buddies get out and he has $12,000 in a paper bag.
It's a scene out of a movie.
Opens his paper bag and goes, hey, here's $12,000. The interest is 30% a month. And then he pulls out an Uzi looking thing. I don't know my guns very well. And it's like, if you don't pay me back, I'm going to kill you.
Oh, so it literally is a scene out of a movie. Some fucking gangster shit.
This is, I think it was like the Korean mafia. In Gainesville, Florida. That's where I'm at the time, Gainesville, Florida. This happens in a Kroger parking lot at like 9:45 p.m., right? Like down the road from Nationwide.
Well, so to agree to that deal, you had to have a high level of confidence in your newfound abilities, or were you just like, hey, I got to make it work?
It was that. It was okay, I got to make this work. And at the time, I knew about something called proprietary trading. And so proprietary trading is going to sound crazy to your listeners. You can get leverage. So money grows on trees, first and foremost. It's never the money. The money's always there. You just got to figure out where to get it. Mm-hmm. You're able to I took $10,000 and got access to $1 million of buying power through proprietary trading. So you wire $10,000 to a Hong Kong, super sketchy, right? Like, I wired 10 grand to this account and I did know the guy kind of, so I figured it would work out. I had used it before. I was relatively confident that it would work out. It did. So I got access to $1 million of buying power for day trading. And I started day trading with $1 million of buying power. So I could buy $1 million worth of stock. So 2,000 shares, it would go up $3. I would sell it. That's $6 grand. I would take $3,000 of that, transfer it, because that's the interest payment on this freaking 12 grand. And I just started playing that game for a while. Then my dad gets diagnosed with cancer. And so now I literally have a ticking like clock where I got to make this amount of money. And I just became a maniac, dude. Like I didn't sleep. I would go to Tropical Smoothie. It was 24/7. I would bring my computers, my laptops, my screens, put them in the Tropical Smoothie booth and just trade and study and learn. And it was wild, man. It was a wild time in my life. But I got in screen time and I did end up making enough money. I made $100,000 in the course of a couple of months. And my dad, I went on a cruise in March with some buddies. It was like a booze cruise, like a weekend thing. As soon as I got back, my mom called me and said, hey, you need to come up here. Your dad's in hospice. So, or it was in the hospital. He wasn't in hospice yet. So I come up to the hospital. This is Emory in Georgia, like in Atlanta. He's doing all the things. And then I had that amount of money to finally pay him back. And so I got a check and I brought it to him. And then he said, when I was giving him the money, he goes, well, son, I'm for the worms. It was like, this money's not going to do me any good. Make sure your mom's always taken care of. He's like, I'm not going to make it another week. So I made sure that all my family was there. This is the funnest story in the world, dude. I love this whole thing in my life. On his deathbed, all my friends and family around, the guy, whoever your best friend, your ride or die is in life, maybe it's Jenny, maybe it's whoever, like your ride or die, your number one, that for me was like my buddy named Donovan. My buddy was my nephew. Mm-hmm. So I have 2 sisters. My sister's second oldest son was my guy. We did everything together. We talked 10 minutes a day, and he was born premature. He was what a lot of people would recall to as a midget, right? A small person, tiny little guy. Love this dude. And in the NICU, a nurse spilled boiling water on him and burned half of his body. And
as a fucking preemie baby.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And so obviously my mom and his mom sued the hospital and won, and took that money, hundreds of thousands of dollars at zero, and put it into an annuity. We didn't know any of this. My dad told us this on his deathbed and said, Dom has millions of dollars in an annuity, and here's the password and the code to log in. He lived the life that we lived, knowing that there was millions of dollars in an account, and he just never let anyone have it, never let anyone know, never let anyone access it.
Wow.
Only his mom, my mom, and my dad knew it. No one told us until my dad's dying day. And me and Donovan looked at each other and was like,
Oh, why? Oh, hold. Yeah.
whole new world's opening up, man. So now I'm 24, almost 23, 24. He's 20-ish. He's 3 years younger than me. And obviously my dad dies. We have his wake. All that stuff happens. A couple months later, me and Donovan, we have a conversation and we go, this is it, buddy. He goes, you know how to trade the stock market, right? I was like, yep, I do. I do now. I know how. We took and sold. If you have an annuity, Wealth Fact, you can sell it early.
Okay.
And so it's called a cash out refi annuity sale. So we do a value.
Yeah, but that's basically speaking Chinese to me.
Yeah, you probably necessarily shouldn't do it. So like the value of the entire annuity was worth probably 30 million in 35 years after that.
30 million.
Yeah, but in 35 years after that, so it would keep building. So we sold it to Peachtree Insurance for like 12 million ahead of time.
I mean, I guess what even is an annuity? Like, where's the money sitting? Where's the value in it?
Yeah, it's good. Great question. So annuity is an investment vehicle. It's very much like your TSP.
Okay.
Except they take it. It's a lot safer. They're putting it's a little bit more advanced than a bond, but it's very similar to a CD. So you put a bunch of money in, and when you put that money in, you give it to a company. They're over here trading it.
I see.
Right? They're trading it like monsters. They're buying insurance policies, and they're buying stock, and they're buying real estate, and they're paying you your 6 to 9% a year.
Okay.
Yeah, but they're very safe products. Annuities can be really useful. They kind of lock up for a little bit longer than most products. So yeah, we sold it early and we just started doing everything. We bought real estate. We bought businesses. I was trading commodities for him. We were doing tons and tons of real actual dollar businesses. I was trading millions of dollars, making hundreds of thousands a week. We were rolling. And
so all the guys who lost their money way back in the day,
they're all paid back now.
They're paid back now. Mm-hmm. Uzi Man is probably happy with you. Mm-hmm. So everything's good.
Life is good. And you know what's coming next.
Yeah, round 2. As long as you paid the guy back that was going to kill you.
Uzi guy's done. Okay. Yeah. Uzi guy's done. Everyone's done. Everyone's paid back. And me and Donovan, we see a 16,000 acre land parcel for sale in Georgia. Mm-hmm. And we find a way to call the guy and contact the guy. We find the agent. We contact the dude. He's just a good old boy from Georgia. We go to him. I'm still in Tennessee at the time. We're talking on the phone. We call the guy, and he starts walking us through like this land sale. And he's asking us, he's like, you guys sound really young to like trying to buy this. Like, tell me your deal. Like, what's up? Where's your money at? So we fill him in. And he says, well, that's amazing. But here's the problem. He's no good without you, talking about Dom, and Dom, and you're no good without him because I'm the money guy. Mm-hmm. So I make all the money, give it to Dom, and Dom does all the investing, physical investing, right? It's like land, houses, real estate. We bought a bunch of land. He was farming, all kinds of things, dude. And so he pieced this together and said, listen, you guys aren't legit.
Midget's Farm?
No.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I was like, but you guys aren't legit.
Yeah.
You guys need to go do, he told us about Keyman Insurance. First time I ever heard about this. He said, you should form a company. I was like, we should? He goes, yeah. Like, you should put all of this on a document. Like, you should be all in on this. And the reason I hadn't is at this time, now this is 2014, I had launched my company. I gave all this education away for free, and I was getting sued. Fun fact. So as I was getting sued, I was like,
someone was mad that you gave bad advice or something.
No. This was the other companies that were charging for what I was giving away for free.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of like if you had a jiu-jitsu gym, like everyone can be here for free. I mean, no one will get any value out of it, But it's like everyone can come here for free. No one paying me anything. Other jiu-jitsu gyms might get mad at you and they might sue you.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what happened to me. I was getting sued for making everything free. And so I made sure that nothing was in my name.
Okay.
So everything that we're doing, trading accounts, business accounts, bank accounts, everything was in Donovan's name. All of it. So this guy knows this. He tells us this is a problem. You need to open up LLC. First time I heard about this. You need to create a key man insurance policy. First time we heard about this. Was telling us all these things to do. And he goes, then if we do all that, we get all this documented, you guys can come and we'll make a deal. This was on a Thursday. Donovan dies Saturday.
Oh no.
In a wakeboarding accident. And so obviously, right, like no one cares about the money. But I'd rather have Donovan back.
Of course.
Right. But also everything was in his name.
Yeah.
And he had no wife. I mean, he's 26 when he dies. So he doesn't have anything. So it all goes to his mom. And his mom is devastated to this day.
Of course.
Devastated. Everyone knows Donovan was her favorite. She has 4 kids. Donovan was everyone's favorite. And everything went into probate. She wasn't able to touch it, couldn't make phone calls, couldn't get out of bed.
Yeah.
Millions and millions of dollars of inventory, businesses, company, land, houses, all of it gets sold for pennies on the dollar.
Wow.
Yep. And so now we're in like 2015 is when that happened. But yeah, 2015, 2016 was, so I just get kicked in the mouth. And I start going like, all right,
yeah,
God, what's going on, dude? Like, why are you doing this to me? Mm-hmm. Right? I was in victim mindset for sure, because it just keeps happening. Like, does anyone in the listeners out there, does anyone ever feel like things start working and they start working and they start working and then you just hit a thing and then you go down again? Mm-hmm. And then you're like, oh, and so you rebuild and you rebuild and you rebuild and then you get kicked in the teeth again. And it becomes this perpetual cycle where you're like, I think I'm never going to make it. I'm always going to hit some type of threshold, some type of plateau, and never, ever exceed that. Mm-hmm. And that's how I felt, man. It was devastating. Again.
So then now you're on round 2 of starting from the bottom again, huh?
Starting from the bottom again. So I had to call another guy.
But you had all the knowledge this time. Because everything was technically working. Yeah. This wasn't an error in your ways. Mm-hmm. This was just an act of God.
Yep. And so I'm familiar with how the whole game works at this point, and I'm happy about that. And so now I'm no longer stressed about the markets. Again, I'm not saying I'm always winning on trades. I'm just simply saying I'm very familiar with how the game works. So if I lose 10,000, but I make 15,000, that's a $5,000 profit. Just do that all day, right? Oh man, 2016 starts happening. I start learning about something called Bitcoin. Studying a little bit, understanding a little bit. Me and Donovan had bought some Bitcoin. I don't have any money. I know Bitcoin's the thing I need to invest in at this time. I go borrow money from a guy named Johnny Guarco. Shout out to my boy Johnny. He lives in Hawaii. We're still close. Borrowed $100,000 from him. And he wired me the money that day. No questions asked. I mean, he's my homie. Mm-hmm. And I took that and started trading Bitcoin with it and turned that into $200,000. Gave Johnny his $100,000 back. So now I got $100,000 in cash. Bought some Bitcoin, started trading in Bitcoin pretty actively. This is in 2016. So Bitcoin's like $200. And in 2017, Bitcoin goes up and it goes to 19,000. So I started selling it at around 17, 18, 19,000. And I was trading in and out of that time, but I had thousands of Bitcoins. And so I made tens of millions of dollars for the third time in 2017. And this time I said, I'm fucking keeping this shit.
Yeah.
I get it now. It's here. It's a mental, this is a me thing.
Uh-huh.
the key, the person in the story, it's me. And I started saying yes to everything.
When you say I decided I'm keeping this, did that mean you just came to like an understanding on an energetic level, or did you start saying like, okay, every $200,000 I make, I'm gonna buy a house or whatever it is that would be more stable long run? So if you were to hit a crash in the stock market or with crypto, you have backup things in place, or what did that mean?
Yep. So the answer is more energetic,
Okay.
because making money is one energy. Keeping money is an entirely different energy. Most people are really good at making it. Most people
I was just going to say that's interesting.
Most people are bad at keeping it. So, keeping it from taxes, keeping it from whatever. Like, most people aren't the greatest in the world at keeping their money or keeping it around for long periods of time. So, yes, to your point, started buying a lot of real estate, started buying other stocks, started buying businesses, other assets. But a lot of it I just kept liquid. And I started saying yes to all things that I think could have made me better.
Mm-hmm.
Coaching. I went to AA. I went to sex therapy, spiritual therapy, relationship therapy. I did meditation retreats. I did all the psilocybin retreats. I was saying yes to everything. I was like, figure this out, man. I got something in my soul that I know isn't totally perfectly accurate. Like, there's something missing here. And so this was a journey of what I call healing.
Mm-hmm.
I was on a panel not that long ago, probably about 2 years ago, really high-end panel. Everyone on the panel is like, they're worth probably a couple $100 million. And people are asking them questions like, what would you do, if you knew all the things you knew now? Like, that kind of thing.
Go out in the woods and eat a bunch of mushrooms.
Almost was my answer.
Yeah.
So everyone else's answer was essentially like, I would do something differently with real estate or stocks or Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I was like, those are all good answers, but I remember you saying to Jenny, like, Jenny, if we were in the 1990s knowing everything we know now, we'd be unbelievably wealthy, right?
Yeah.
Yes, obviously that's the case. But the first thing I would do, knowing everything I know now, would be heal.
Yeah.
I would heal faster, because you're a very healed man. That's one of the reasons that you and I connected so well, is you've done the work, dude.
Yeah.
You're not just this ape that just smashes people in the gym. Like, you actually have done the work, the ceremonies, the heart meditation. Like, you've gone deep. And I know that. Everyone knows that when they meet you. So the ability and the belief to heal was the very, very huge one for me. So this is the meditation retreat I told you and your wife about. That happened in 2017. I did all kinds of coaching. I've done every coaching program imaginable, 2018, 2019. And then in 2020, like January, I hear about this thing called spiritual healing. And I was like, I don't know what that is. That sounds really cool. And there was this woman who did it named Svetlana. And I was like, sweet. Okay, well, I'm going to buy that for me and for my whole team. So I bought it in January of 2020. March of 2020, late February, I'm in Salt Lake City, Utah. We're skiing, we're snowboarding. My whole team is there. I bought my whole team like passes to go snowboard, and we're all on this mountain and we're hanging out. And they announced COVID and everyone's all freaking out. So everyone leaves and I'm still in Salt Lake City. And I'm like, well, I have to go to Vegas for two reasons. Number one, I have a Spartan race in Vegas. They're not going to shut down the Spartan race because of COVID.
Yeah, of course not. Right?
We're all Spartans. Like, that's going to be fine.
Don't go outside and run around and get dirty.
No.
Don't do that.
Don't do that, right? And I got the spiritual healing. So I got these two things. I got to go to Vegas.
So Svetlana's healing is in Vegas.
Yep.
Okay.
So I fly to Vegas and they shut the whole world down. The whole world gets shut down.
Yeah.
And I land in Vegas. My hotel's gone, like canceled. The Strip is canceled. The flights are canceled. And I was like, maybe Svetlana will let me sleep on her couch. So I messaged her. And this is March of 2020. And so you know my wife's name.
Yeah, oh yeah, I know where this is going.
So
it sounds to me like COVID was the biggest blessing in your entire life.
1,000%.
I say the same thing.
Dude, 2020 was the best year of my life up until 2021 and 2023. It keeps getting better, which is the best. But that was the coolest year. It was amazing. It was amazing.
So then you go there and...
Yeah. I go there and she rips my soul apart. Nothing physical, guys. Like we didn't have sex. We didn't do anything. In fact, the first time I tried to kiss her, she turned away.
Oh no.
I come to find out later I had a giant booger in my mouth.
She wasn't going to have that be the first.
Yeah, she was going to have that be the first. Like, 'cause I was doing a 13-mile run and she was joining me for like a couple miles.
Okay.
Because the Spartan race did end up getting canceled. Fun fact.
Of course.
And I was like, listen, universe, I owe you 13 miles. So I got to go get that one way or another. So I went and did 13 miles and she did like 3 miles with me, which was awesome. She's not a runner. Mm-hmm. But in those miles, I was like, oh, this is the perfect time. We did the Red Rock Canyon loop. I was like, this is the perfect. It's me and her, no one else. Uh-huh. went in for the kiss, and she leaned away. I was like, what? So, I was like, whatever. So a couple of days later, we do this healing, and she pours angels into my soul. Like I see angels for the first time.
And this is no plant medicine. This is just meditation, breath work, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And angels being put into your soul.
Yeah. This is 100% sober, dude. Stone cold. In fact, I've been sober for a while up until this point. So straight up. And it was just the most unique thing. And then she started telling me things about Donovan and my dad. She didn't know anything about my dad or Donovan at this point. She started telling me things that they're telling her to tell me.
Yeah, it's wild.
Bro.
So now you have a knowing.
And up until this whole point, all the coaching I had been doing, all the quote unquote healing was awesome, but 97% of it was like, work harder, make more money, grind,
Yeah.
hustle.
Yeah.
Right? It was that type of coaching.
Burn the candle at both ends. We'll sleep when we're dead.
Get after it. Right? That kind of
Yeah.
That was most of it. And you know, which worked. It was cool, right? Like the David Goggins pill. Like I took it, drank it, love it, ever. It was amazing. But ultimately, the session that I had with her was just totally unique and totally different. She told me things that I had never heard before. One of those things was, and again, man, keep in mind, I had hundreds of coaches up until this point. Mm-hmm. She asked me, what's the purpose of life for you, Jeremy? Life is. What comes after that? I was like, oh, it's easy. Life is all about the pursuit of happiness. And she looks me dead in my soul. And she says, are you tired of pursuing? Are you ready just to be happy? I was like, yeah, I'm fucking ready. I'm ready to be happy.
Again, just a perspective shift.
Perspective shift. Like no one had ever told me that before. Everyone else, all the other coaches were like, yeah, pursuit of happiness. Go get it. Track it down. Find it. It's good. Mm-hmm. And for her to tell me like, hey, stop pursuing. Be. Right? I was a really good human doing up until 2020. Mm-hmm. And in 2020, I learned how to be a human being.
Okay. Wow, dude.
It's crazy. So now we're 5 years later, and wife, we have Gabriel, and then we have 2 boys together, 3 boys, living in her dream house in Laguna Beach on a cliff overlooking the ocean. Like the speed at which things started coming into my life. I'm an investor of a private island. I have access to a private island whenever I want. We fly private down there and stay down there for weeks. It's like,
and it's legendary.
Oh yeah, you obviously you've been.
It's legendary.
It's so cool.
When
dude.
you step on the island, it's like in an energy vortex or something.
Mm-hmm. It's wild. It's kind of like your property. Right?
Yeah,
like a sacred something. Ground. There's something there. And man, it's just to go back 7 years or 10 years and just ask yourself, would any of this be possible? You're going to say no. One of the things I've learned, and one of the ways that God works, which is really cool, is God will never show you what you're truly capable of. Because if you saw it, you wouldn't believe it was your life. Mm-hmm. And you'd be scared of it. And you wouldn't want the responsibility. You wouldn't want the weight. You wouldn't want that kind of pressure.
One thing that you said that was that the next day after we met that I think is very important is the energy of wealth and abundance is something that you have to, how did you phrase it? You literally just walked up and you said, hey, I want you to understand this. Remember we were all dressed up. We were in that, I don't even know what that little bar was or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're like, always remember this. The more you make or the more you give, the more you receive. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of become like one of your ethos.
Yeah.
That you're a huge proponent of.
Yeah.
Is that something you understood along the journey for a lot of, I mean, I understand you were working for other people and you were helping other people, or is that something that has really come to fruition or an understanding as of late?
I finally realized it to be true. The very, very, very first time, because I had heard it a lot from Zig Ziglar and Les Brown. They're like, and Tony Robbins, like the secret to living is giving. And if you want more, give more. And, whoever gives more will receive more.
And the truth is, like, it feels good to say,
Exactly.
right? And it sounds like a good headline.
Cool. Yeah, it sounds fun.
But is it real?
Right. So when I was getting sued, right, and I knew I had a bunch of money with Donovan that no one else knew about. I had $100,000 in my account, and I knew I was going to lose some of these lawsuits, and ultimately, or I'll lose or spend money or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I want to make sure that if I get sued or whatever happens, they have no money that they can come after me for. So I'm just going to make sure I get rid of this money. So what's the best way to get rid of $100,000? Donate it. Mm-hmm. So I sat down for like 4 minutes and was like, what organization should I donate this to? And Ronald McDonald Foundation. So Ronald McDonald Foundation has had housed both of my sisters when they had premature children. My sister Sherry had Donovan, and then my sister Janielle had Gabrielle, and they were housed in the Ronald McDonald Foundation when their children were in the NICU. So I donated all of it, $100,000, wrote a check, sent it out, done. And a couple months later, I got a phone call from a guy that I had worked with, and he said that his dad had just passed away, and again, I knew that this was likely going to happen, and he wanted me to help him build a trading fund. We didn't specifically call it a hedge fund at the time, but that's what it was. And he wanted to fly me to LA. And he said, I'll fly you first class to LA, and I'll pay you $200,000. This was like 2 months later. Like your Hale story.
Yeah, seriously.
It was the most, I was like, what? And I didn't connect those two, by the way, until later. I was like, oh, that's so crazy. Like, wow, Christian reached out to me from the middle of nowhere. And like, I didn't even piece them together. It's so funny. Like, there's sometimes coincidences happen. And a lot of people think, oh, that's an interesting random coincidence. And they never piece the two things together. But if you give, you're going to get more. And a lot of times people just don't know how. That was one of the first instances that I could go back to say that actually did literally happen very, very quickly. And now it is literally in my ethos. Like, I figure out ways to give more. And every time I give, every single time, $100 here, it doesn't matter how much it is. I had a guy randomly text me the other day out of blue. He's like, hey, my daughter's friend is hosting a volleyball tournament, and she's trying to raise some money for a thing. Will you donate? I was like, yeah. In situations like that, I always have a certain amount that I'm going to donate. $100. Donate $100. 17 minutes later, I got a text message from someone like, I'd love to sign up for your course. I'm going to wire you the money right now. Just stuff like that, where you just like, I can see it, I can feel it.
And bro, I'm starting to see it and feel it. Yes. And I'm doing the same thing, like just being really generous with. Right now, it's like people providing services, like giving $100 tips to the woman that cuts your hair or a nice waitress. We gave, and it's funny too, because like my protector energy always wants to take care of females. And that's just, and I noticed I'm always, this nice, pleasant woman that waited on my family and provided us a good energy during our dinner, give her $100. And then the other day we had a male, I forget where me and Jenny were at. Oh, we went to a breakfast place. And I was like, he's giving good energy too. I can't preclude him. So then we gave him like $100 tip, and it's like, man, it feels good. And I always talk about this too, like there is a sense of selfishness to being a good, kind person, because guess what? It does make you feel good. But that doesn't make it, there's no negative side to that though, right?
None.
And so it's interesting. Or again, like I had one of my jiu-jitsu students is like sponsoring his soccer team, $200.
Yeah.
Sponsoring another girl's, her race car. This teenage girl that is a friend of a daughter of a friend who's doing racing. And it's like having the ability to do this now. Not only do I know it's going to make like my karmic energy better, but it feels good for all parties involved.
Sure.
And it's just special.
Let me give you a really cool shift too. I had a mentor ask me this question. I didn't know the answer to it initially. He said, okay, Jeremy, if this is true, if you give more, the more you give, the more you receive, why are some of the nicest, kindest people that always give broke? And I was like, I don't know, David. It's a good question. Like, I do feel like there's a lot of moms and grandmas who are like,
I think I know the answer.
and they're just giving and they're just giving and they're just giving. Okay. So he told me his belief about this. And then I would love to hear what your answer was. He said, the scripture in the Bible could also be very, very easily translated to the more that you give, the more that you are given.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a difference between given and receiving, right? If you're given something, you have to
receive it. That's exactly what I was going to say. Like, giving and receiving is different.
Yes. So to be given something, you have to reach your hands out essentially and pull it in. You have to receive, usually physically, right? It's a physical thing that you have to do. Receiving it, it's like you just have to lay there essentially, like, and get massaged. That's receiving. You don't have to really technically do anything. It's just happening. But the realization that to be given something, you do have to have some type of physical interaction or awareness or energy. And a lot of those, what I was thinking when he asked me those questions, like the nurses and the cute grandmas and the moms of the world that have given and given and given, they've given so much to other people, but they've never sat down, taken the time to energetically go, I want something for me as well. And I'm okay to actually reach out and take what someone is trying to give me.
Well, and not only take it a step further, a lot of people, not only are they not willing to receive, but they're almost apprehensive of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's okay.
Mm-hmm. You got to start working on it. So a great thing that you can do for people is as you're listening to this portion, go out to your friends and give them a really nice, over-the-top, kind compliment. Something that's it's a lot. Mm-hmm. It's not like, hey, man, you're really, really cool. But something like, Greg, man, you're an incredible father. You're a provider. You're a protector. You're a warrior. You're a kind spirit. Your heart glows. You are a man that is put on this earth for a purpose, and you're living in it. You are walking in it, and it inspires me, and I love that about you.
Dude, I feel that.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, I feel that.
Now, what's interesting is if I did that to anyone in your gym yesterday, they probably would have been like, their hands would have done this,
mm-hmm.
right? They go, no, that's not me, right? And they would push away that compliment. One of my favorite ones is, in very, very quick, I'll go up to people and go, man, you're so rich. And what will they do? No. And they'll do this. Like, their hands go out, they push the energy away. They push the compliment away. That is an act of receiving. If me giving a compliment is a words of affirmation, which is a love language.
Yeah.
If I give someone a compliment and they're not receiving that compliment from me, which is sincere. If it comes from me, family, it's always sincere. I promise. I'm not making it up to make you feel better. This is me and how I show love. Words of affirmation is one of my number one love languages. It's my second, actually. So physical touch, number one, words of affirmation, number two. So I need to receive words of affirmation to feel loved. And I also need to give words of affirmation to show love. So with that being said, if someone pushes that compliment away, they're not receiving. And so it is an act, it's an awareness, it's an energy that will change your life.
Why do you think we are just kind of hardwired to not accept compliments? I wonder if it's because, like, a lot of people have a hard time liking themselves. So hearing good things about themselves, oh no, they can't, those can't be right. Because I can think about an example here at the gym, and I call him Steven 2.0 because he's leveled up. He's finally learned how to receive compliments and believe in himself, things like that, right? And that's why I'm comfortable telling the story. But I remember, I forget, one of our guys was in town that isn't here very often. He told Steven, he's like, dude, you're looking thick, like, meaning like you're looking strong, because he kind of flexed his arms, you know? And Steven was initially like, that's mostly fat. Like, I don't want you to see value in me, so I have to push that away right away. Mm-hmm. And we talk about things here in the gym like that, because it's like,
yeah, you do.
No, don't take someone's complimentive energy
and just immediately shove it away.
and then not be able to receive it by becoming self-deprecating.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not fat. Everybody knows you're not fat. You're a stud, dude. You're fucking stud. And then accepting the fact that you're a stud, there's no sad story in that. It's good, you know?
So here's why people don't do that. So I mentioned it very briefly last night in like kind of the conversation on the mats.
Mm-hmm.
It's the words that people say to themselves. It's that story.
Yes. Well, yes.
And so internally, people beat the shit out of themselves mentally.
Dude. You talk about the equine therapy down at the island, down at your island.
Yeah.
The exercise where they're like, write the meanest things that you tell yourself down on a card. Now say it to these horses. Nobody knew they were going to be asked to say it to the horses.
No one had any idea.
But bro, I've been in a place where I've said some pretty mean things, but some of those cards even shocked me. And these are like stud veterans.
Yeah. Amazing men.
And some of those cards are like,
Lifesavers.
you're a stupid fucking cunt. You're a piece of shit. I hate you. And just saying that now, man, it's like you can feel that pain in their heart.
Yeah.
And I like that you said that. You're like, would you tell Greg some of the things you tell yourself? And that's a perfect way to put it. Would you tell your kid that? Would you tell your wife that?
No. They're all going to say, everyone's going to say no.
But you tell yourself that.
And that is the absolute number one reason, because we're so critical to ourselves. That internal messaging, that internal voice. And again, family, I'm not obviously perfect.
No, of course not.
Right. So like I'm
still a complete mess.
I'm going to say these things to myself. Like if whatever, I run a red light or I slam on the brakes too hard and like the coffee cup spills over, I'm like, you're just a fucking idiot. Like that'll pop out in my mind. I'm working on that. But I would say 99% of the time, I'm pretty good with it.
Yeah.
Right. Like if I don't finish the race in the amount of time I want to, I'm like, hey, bud, you did really good. I'm really proud of you. Like that loop internally. How many people tell themselves that you're proud of yourself? It's rare because you want that affirmation from someone else.
I wonder if that's, you're talking about all the energy around money and hitting rock bottom and your education and like all the steps that took you to really truly find success. I wonder if the foundation of all of it is just liking yourself. You look in the mirror and you say, that's a pretty cool motherfucker. Because I find myself doing that. Like, I like who I am at this phase of my life. And I don't think you can really reach any type of potential if you don't like who you see in the mirror.
Do you have the day in your mind where you went from not liking yourself to liking yourself?
I definitely don't have like a moment where it shifted, but there is a period of growth that I would say transpired over a couple years where I started to see my value. And I'll tell you where it came from. I mean, it came from some very close people, like having talks with me and talking to me about the value that they see in me. But, like people that are close to you are always going to say that, right? And sometimes that's hard to receive because if your close friends and family are like, no, Greg, like I see this in you and this is your value. It's easy to put a wall up to that.
Yeah.
Because it's mom,
Yeah.
it's girlfriend, whatever it is, right? What really did it for me is when I started to detach from head coach and watch like Will and Tyler and Igor like running classes in here. And I could sit in that chair or when we were upstairs and I could see 40 people smiling, laughing, growing, becoming more capable, developing camaraderie with the people to their left and their right. And it's like, you did this. You provided this to people.
Yeah.
That's not by chance. That's not something to take lightly. You should be proud of that. And it started to empower me, not only as a coach, but as a person, because it's like, dude, this is no longer something, like you said, you're pursuing. It's something that's happening.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you took credit for that. I heard you, when you said a moment ago, you did this. A lot of people, even from that, will give a very, very popular statement, give all glory to God.
Mm-hmm.
You're created in the image of God.
Yeah. You can go do cool things too, right?
You can say,
If you couldn't do things for you, what is this all about?
right. So back to what you said earlier, and I think this is really coming full circle for me. So this feels good. I love this. Is what if all of this is just you loving yourself more?
Yeah.
What if all that we're trying to do is just turn that spotlight inwards and love every aspect of yourself? Because if you can start from there, if you were made in the image of God and you start loving yourself more, you're probably going to love God more. And if you do that energy, you're going to get rewarded. And if you can just sit down and go, I did this. This is because of me.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you for everything that I have. Thank you for everything that I've been given. I've received it. I appreciate that. And then I did something and I feel really good about it. If you start operating from that energy,
Yeah.
your whole life will change.
Well, and the more you start to believe that,
Yes,
the
dude.
more you start to receive it. Like, dude, I'm telling you right now, last night, I'll probably get choked up saying this because two people that I hold in a very high regard is you and my spiritual teacher, Dawn, who came last night for the first time too. And both of you pulled me aside and said, the energy in here is very special. You were having fun. You're like, dude, it's palpable. I want to eat it up. I can feel it. Right. And then she wrote me last night and she goes, I get it now.
That's so cool.
And it's like, this isn't just random people coming in off the streets and finding value here. And they're a big part of it too. I'm not detracting from that.
Yep.
But also people that I have a tremendous amount of respect for and that I know are living their dream and doing the things that they think brings the world value. They step into my world and they feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And it tells me I'm on the right path.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you are, man. You're on the right path. And that's really fun for me to hear, where like you were able to sit down for a moment and just like let it pour onto you and pour into you. Or like this is me. Like I did this. And you don't have to talk about or think about all the other people in your life. A lot of times, if you can sit down, every single listener here, and just appreciate for a moment all the things that you have done for you, it will help you transcend incredibly.
Well, and jiu-jitsu guys will get this. For years, there was a part of me that's like, every time a round is happening, you need to be on the mats grinding with the team. That's what we do. Lead from the front and show no rounds off, no easy rolls, always getting after it. And the last, I'd say, year, dude, I like to take a round or two off so I can watch everybody else. And not, obviously, that's good from a coaching perspective, a technical perspective, see where you can work here, they can work there. But more importantly, it's just to see and feel all the joy that these people are experiencing under our roof.
Yeah.
That's powerful, man.
Yeah. Feel the energy, right?
Yeah.
Step into it, be aware of it, understand it. And to shout out one of your students that you mentioned earlier, Igor.
Yeah.
First of all, what a savage.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Number two, his kids were here.
Yeah.
And
Also savages.
seeing that bond and just noticing the father-son relationship and knowing how important that is and knowing the energy. And for all my dads out there, all your kids, all your sons especially want to see you do is they want to see you win. They want to see you lose. They want to see you try. They want to see you soar. They want to talk about money, growth, excellence, purpose. And to have him there doing all of those things with his sons was just really, really cool to see.
Yeah. No, I tell people all the time, man, like this is one of the best vehicles in the world to bond with your children. Mm-hmm. Because they're going to see you in pain. They're going to see you in victory. They're going to see you in defeat. Like Igor went and competed this weekend with, the other 40 members of our team that did. And your children are down there. They're watching your victories. They're watching your defeats. They see you putting in work, like all the little things that can empower them later in life are happening right here. And I say it all the time on the show. Your kids aren't going to do what you say. They're going to do what they see.
Yeah.
And those lessons are being imparted on them without even thinking about actually imparting a lesson. Mm-hmm. You're just embracing this lifestyle, and now they see that.
That's one of the things that me and my wife in a fun way, but also slightly conscious way, is we always want to have our children see us being in love.
Yeah.
Because I think that's probably rare for most guys like us in our generations. Like, we didn't really see our parents in love and in lust. Like, we saw our parents kind of always bicker and fight, or just never.
Yeah, I don't even know if I've ever seen my parents kiss.
Right.
I was, as you were saying that, I was thinking that.
Yeah, I saw your eyes go to the left, right? Trying to recall.
I was.
something.
Yeah, it's funny. I knew I was doing that. I'm like, is that in there somewhere? I don't think so.
Yeah, and that's unique for most men in our generation, like the world that we live in and grew up in. I'm sure it's probably a little bit different right now. But to your point, like, I saw my mom and dad kiss, but it was one of those like, right. And again, I'm not saying we make out on the couch in front of our kids.
Yeah. Get
A lot.
A big old handful of ass and titty.
That's right. That's right. But I definitely hold my wife for minutes, 2-3 whole minutes. We're in a loving embrace in the kitchen, and I'm kissing her forehead. I'm holding her closely. I'm loving,
which is
my
more
wife.
intimate.
It's even more intimate.
Yeah.
Right. Than that quick, whatever, a kiss or make out. It's like, for me, I want our children to see that. And so that's one of those habits. That's one of those situations that I want to make sure our boys see how a man treats a woman, with respect, with admiration, with pride, with joy, and with love. Mm-hmm. Because that's another thing that, again, I think really people just overlook, is just the simple fact, and you and your wife did a great job of this, obviously. Because I was able to spend a lot of time with you yesterday. And to see,
and this is a new journey for me, if I'm being honest. Like, being conscious of what you're talking about and trying to be more present, and give her that energy.
Yeah, it is. It's for all. I mean, for dads, for husbands, for men. Everyone has their challenges, men and women, right? Ours is being present as men, because it's so easy for us to think about so many things that matter. And yes, we have the one-track mind, so women think about things differently than us. But just for the ability, because once we think about a thing, that's the thing we think about.
Yeah.
Right. And so women can be present because they can think about 100 things, but one of them can be this moment.
Yeah.
For men, it's like steak,
sex,
sleep,
fighting.
Yeah. That's it. So those 4 things, if it's one of those 4 things, it's going to be that thing.
Well, and here's a mistake that I made for a long time is I appreciate my wife's value and what she brings to my life and our business. Like, duh. No, everybody knows that Jenny is the brains of a lot of my success. Everybody knows that, right?
Yeah, they should.
Well, and so, like, for a long time, when she would say, like, I don't feel appreciated, she would say that. I never hear your appreciation for me. And I'm like, babe, are you fucking kidding me? Everybody knows that Jennifer Anderson is steering this ship. Like, everybody knows that. Well, an innate knowing isn't really showing her. That's just existing, right? So last night, dude, when I was talking to the whole team during Bow Out, I gave her a shout out. And when we got home, she like hugged me and goes, thank you so much for that. And it's like, sure, it's taken me 44 years to be able to connect dots that seem relatively easy to connect.
Yeah.
But our brains just are on different frequencies.
Correct.
Like, I don't need, me personally, like, if I understand that me and one of my male friends are very close and we're sharing good energy, I don't necessarily need him to say that. But Jenny's in a place where she does need that. And it goes back to the love languages, right? Like, she needs to hear words of affirmation.
Sure.
And I've always just thought, like, dude, I wouldn't fucking marry you if I didn't like you. Like, yeah, I wouldn't be here if I didn't see the value in you. So that, to me, is just kind of, it's a given. But that's not a given to her.
Right. What are your love languages?
Physical touch, for sure, is number one. I don't know if words of affirmation. You know, it's funny. I just got done saying that I don't think I need it, but then when you do receive it, it feels pretty damn good.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, because when you told me just 10 minutes ago, you're like, you're a good father, you're a good leader, man. I was like, just making my heart soar a little bit, dude. Was it gifts is one of them, which is I don't think is mine. What are the 5? I forget.
So-
I've read the book.
Yeah. So you have quality time.
I think that's probably one of mine.
Yeah. And then acts of service is the other one.
Okay.
So love, physical touch, words of affirmation, gifts, quality time, acts of service.
I'd have to think about it a little bit. It's hard because all of those things
They're all great, right?
provide value to you.
Oh yeah, of course. Like all 5 are needed.
I think acts of service are probably, if I had to just kind of guess as we're sitting here, it would be number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because when someone is a lot of talk and not a lot of action and they don't show up for you, that's always a red flag for me.
Yeah.
Like I expect the people that care about me to show up like I would show up. Just like we said, like moving, you know, things like that. That's an act of service, you know?
But it's good to know because you can start telling other people, hey, acts of service mean a lot to me. You start telling Jenny or whatever. And so it's going to be these small things like, for my wife, she makes me the best breakfast, dude. And she knows it's one of the reasons I married her. That breakfast is so good. And she will go out of her way to make that breakfast.
Yeah.
Because she knows I love it. And it's her act of service for me, right? My act of service for her is I'm always loading the kids in the car. I'm doing the car seats. I'm getting the car cleaned, making sure that there's always gas in her vehicle, like these small little things like that. But to your point, for a lot of guys, I think guys operate in that like we just know, right? I know certain things. These things don't need to be said. They do.
Yeah.
They need to be said. They need to be shown. They need to be talked about. They need to be felt about. They need to, like, you can get bonus points, big bonus points, gentlemen. Very easy bonus points for writing a quick little super fast love note, right? You buy a whatever $25 thing from the store that's like flowers and a card. So you write the note. That counts as quality time. That counts as act of service. That counts as words of affirmation.
Yeah, you're kind of encompassing everything.
Because, oh, by the way, women, they want all 5 all the time. Okay, in case you guys didn't know that. Our ladies, they want all 5 love languages as much as possible. And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. They always have their top 2. But the overall aspect is like if you can find ways to do one of these 5 on a literally a daily basis, your relationships will become so much better.
Well, the thing is, because I'm sitting here thinking as you're saying it, because I never do that. I shouldn't say never, but I probably do that once every 2 months.
Okay.
And it's like,
it's not bad. It's better than 0.
it's better than 0.
There's a lot of guys probably who've never bought their wife flowers ever and never written them a note one time.
It's also a lot less than something daily. And dude, you could also like fuck the flowers and the card. You could, if you just took a piece of notebook paper and wrote like what you appreciate about them, put it on the nightstand for them to wake up to. Come on, dude. But why do I not do that?
So like I said that earlier, that knowing, you're like, she knows.
Yeah.
She knows. And she does. She does. And there's levels to the game. So again, I would never rate this for you specifically, but if you're talking about marriage, I'm going to ask you this question in jiu-jitsu terms.
Yeah.
What type of belt is your marriage?
Purple belt.
That's good.
I'll say it's good.
That's a really good belt
The
to
purple
have.
belt marriage, it's good. We're on a good trajectory. Things are vibing. Things are coming together. We have a very comprehensive understanding.
How do you get that brown?
But yeah, it's also I would say it's a ways from perfect just because this is relatively new.
Understand.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like we're on a good trajectory, we're on a good vibe, but we had to fight to get here. And it was ups and downs. And like you talked about hitting rock bottom financially, our marriage hit rock bottom a couple times. And it's kind of like the phoenix rising out of the ashes. Like we're doing it together and it's bringing us closer.
So good.
And it's good. It feels good being in this phase.
Yeah. When you get that brown belt, call me.
Okay.
Because that'll be big. And you'll feel it. You'll notice it.
Dude, I'm going to say, like, as I'm sitting here now, there will be a moment when I'm like, ooh, that was my promotion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, I love, like, it's so funny because being a jiu-jitsu guy, I can apply all kinds of like everything. Oh, what belt is your marriage? Like I remember when I was doing spiritual work with Don and Tyler, he's like, today you're getting your blue belt in spiritual jiu-jitsu. And that was a year or two ago. So it's probably coming up on purple now, right?
Amazing.
And it's, for me, that's a very clear distinction. It's like, okay, I'm not this just, when you get your blue belt, that says I have a pretty good understanding of what's going on here. Doesn't necessarily mean you're good at it yet, but I
have a general feel.
Yeah, which is imperative if you ever want to excel.
Yeah, I got murdered by one of your blue belts yesterday.
Well, dude, we got some fucking scary blue belts here, bro.
Oh my goodness!
Do you remember who it was?
A guy with a nice beard. So I don't remember his name. But
Did he have kind of long hair too? No,
short hair, nice longer beard.
Fuck, I don't know. There was
there's
what,
a lot of guys,
fucking people here yesterday. It was crazy.
60, 65. Yeah, and a lot of them had beards. So yeah, man, I think for all the listeners, I would love for you guys to message Greg or myself on Instagram or whatever. What belt is your marriage?
Yeah.
What belt is your spirituality? Send Greg or myself those two, because they're probably different, by the way. They should be. And I'm really interested to see what all of your followers, like how they would rate themselves in those two areas. Because if you master those two areas, all of the other areas become really easy. Because here's what I have learned. Money solves all of your money problems.
Yeah.
Guess what money does not solve?
Yeah, your spirituality and your marriage.
My man. You know this.
Yeah.
Right? It can help. It can help. But if your wife hates you and she's really mad at you and she doesn't trust you, guess how much money is going to help that? Zero.
Well, and you are in circles of people now that have hundreds of millions of dollars. And I'm going to be willing to guess you see plenty of people that you're like, oh, fuck, they seem miserable.
Yep. Their wife resents them. And she doesn't trust them. The husband is always like, why is this woman such a bitch? Right? Like me hearing these interpersonal conversations where he hates her, she hates him. I'm having conversations with them because my specialty is wealth and studying wealth. What's wealth if it's not your relationships?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Money is really cool. It's awesome. But again, at about $200,000 a year, anything above that, you don't have money problems. You have money hurdles, money challenges, money obstacles, money puzzles.
And money wants versus money needs.
Yeah. And you can want as much as you want. That's great.
Because it's like, I want a new boat.
Yeah.
I'm
Amazing.
selling my old boat. I want a new boat.
Yeah.
But I don't need a new boat.
Nah.
That's not going to change my happiness.
No. But you want it.
Yeah.
And that's perfect. Get one. But that's not a money problem.
Yeah.
That's just a money desire.
Yeah.
It's a money want. Okay, great. Fantastic. But money problems go away at $200,000 a year. Above and beyond that, everything else is just like, okay, I got to work on these portions of my life. And yeah, to your point, spirituality and relationships. Money's not going to solve those problems.
Well, there's two topics that I want to delve in with you before we wrap it up. And we're already coming up to 18 minutes left. It's an hour and 42 minutes already.
Pumped.
And I guess we'll save the topic of what people can do today to start moving their life in the direction of wealth and prosperity and abundance. We'll save that for last. But one thing that I think is very important for people to hear from you, and I love this. You said this to me on day one. You're like, and you kind of touched on it. You're like, nobody cares, work harder. I burn the candle at both ends. You're like, for me, I like comfort. I like to have good food in my refrigerator. I like to feel well rested. I like to feel happy. But with all that said, I also need to go challenge myself in things that push me to my absolute limits every now and then to A, know I'm not a pussy, and B, know that the savage is still inside of me. So I'll go run 100 miles. And the first time you said that to me, I was like, oh, okay, I kind of get it now. He's one of them. Because like, you got to have a certain amount of crazy in you to be like, okay, like everything's good and I'm happy and I'm content, but just to know I'm not a pussy, I'm going to go in the mountains and run 100 miles.
Yeah.
Or like the one you told me and Jenny about where you're running the elevation of Mount Everest.
Yeah.
And just doing doing physical challenges that seem almost out of the realm of possibility. So talk to us about how that journey started. Because an ultra endurance racer is, you guys are nuts.
Bro, you're fucking nuts, dude.
I know I'm nuts.
You're a black
for sure.
belt.
Yeah, no, I have my nuts too.
You are a weirdo in the best way possible.
But would you agree with me? Because you do these ultra races, bro. It's an interesting group of people.
They all look the same too. every ultra endurance athlete kind of looks a little bit like me, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of tall, kind of lanky, not a lot of muscle on them, but they can just do whatever. It's fascinating. The journey started in 2018. I went full 100% sober in everything in life because I was doing a lot of psychedelics and learning and studying plant medicine and doing all the fun things. And then I got my gold medal. I'm like, I'm good. I'm gonna retire from this. So 2018. I didn't have anything in my body. Like I didn't have honey. I didn't have caffeine. I just went strict, nothing in my body other than food and water. Did that lesson. I was listening to a podcast. I was like in the gym called Art of Manliness. I learned about Colin O'Brady and talk about another savage on this planet, dude. I can't wait for you to interview Colin O'Brady on this podcast. Like what?
I would love to.
Hero. Learned about this event called 29029 Everesting. And Colin O'Brady's like, yeah, this is a pretty hard event. That dude said it's hard. I was like, oh boy. He said, if you want to change your DNA, right? You have this DNA. If you want that DNA to be upgraded, do this event. And I was like, remember, I was saying yes to everything at this time in my life.
Speaking your language.
I was like, done. Upgrade my DNA. Let's go. Had a price ticket, $5,000, credit card. Boom, done. I'm in. And I didn't start training for it. The event was in July of 2019. I didn't start training until April. And the reason I started training...
So a big comprehensive training program, huh?
Yeah. I thought I was fine. I was like, I'm an okay athlete. I'll be okay. And then I had a buddy of mine was like, kind of like my trainer at the time was like, do you know how hard this is going to be? I was like, I'll be fine, dude. I'll be okay. He goes, I don't think you do. Like, you're going to have to do the Empire State Building 100 times. And then I was like, oh boy.
Yeah, that's a perspective shift right there.
Big perspective shift. So I went on the Stairmaster, and there was a Stairmaster in the gym that had Empire State Building. I clicked on it, and that took me 47 minutes, and I was toast. I was like, we got a real problem.
Do it 99 more times.
We got a real problem. So the next day I go back, I do it twice. The next day I go back and do it 3 times. And then the next day is a Saturday. I get there at 6 a.m. when the gym opens, and I don't leave until the gym closes, which is midnight.
Oh, fuck.
6 a.m. to midnight. I'm on that Stairmaster, and I have water bottles all around me, and I got snack bars and all the stuff. And
people are looking at you like you're nuts.
People are looking at me like I'm a nutto. Like,
because you are.
Yeah. I did get it on and off it, to be fair. But like when I got off, I put it to like 1, like the lowest setting imaginable. Got off and like went and used the bathroom or got some food or whatever.
Yeah.
So like, I was on it, but accumulatively, I was definitely on this thing for more than 12 hours. I did like 37 Empire State Buildings, and I was murdered the next day, but I felt so good. My legs didn't work. Right. Like my hip right now is starting to hurt again, just thinking about it. I was like, oh, I like this. Like I couldn't get up. I got addicted to that feeling that day. The addiction of like I can't move my legs. Why can't I move my legs?
So what is addictive about that? The fact that you pushed yourself to your limit? Yeah. Okay.
Right. And you're like, I did something really, really cool. But the same thing, like if you do a roll in jiu-jitsu and you just feel like you went 100%.
Yeah.
Let it all out.
Yep.
Don't you feel good?
For sure.
Yeah.
Especially when like the stars align and it's against another really good athlete.
Yeah.
Somebody that's very technical and like
your match this weekend. You got golden.
And when things come together, you're right.
Yeah. So it was that kind of aspect. And I was like, this is going to be my training mechanism now. So I spent 6 hours in the gym every day doing that Stairmaster. And on the weekends, I'll do 12 hours. I did that every day.
Fucking nut.
Nut,
dude.
I did that every day until July. And then I went and I did the 29029 Everesting Challenge. I actually tell this in one of my keynote presentations. We have plenty of time. I'll share it now, but kind of like in brief.
Well, and we can go over 2 hours.
Okay, good.
I just know that you have the meeting at some.
Plenty of time.
Okay, cool.
So I get there and I have this impossible dream. When I get there, I'm like, I want to beat Colin O'Brady, the greatest mountain climber on earth. I want to beat him and climb mountains. Mm-hmm. Now, I tell this keynote. It's a really fun story. And Colin knows this. Me and him chat relatively often. He doesn't know it's a race.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell all the listeners.
Yeah.
He has the entire time.
Yeah. The race is only in your mind.
It's only in my mind, right? I was like, I'm just going to beat him in this race that he doesn't know is happening.
And bro, isn't that, I'll go on, well, back before my fucking knees went out when I ran all the time, I said there's a trail behind the gym that goes for 27 miles. Mm-hmm. And there'll be someone ahead of me. We're racing whether they know it or not.
Right. So Colin has no clue that this race is happening. But in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to beat Colin O'Brady. And so I do one climb. And so we have to climb this mountain in Utah. Is it Snow Basin? Yeah, Snow Basin, Utah. You start at the bottom and you climb to the very top 13 times. Doesn't sound like a lot, I know.
I've climbed mountains one time. Like one time.
It's a lot.
13 does sound like a lot to me.
Yeah. And you end up doing like 35 miles.
And what is the elevation? Shit.
So you start, I think, at like 6,000.
Okay, so 6,000, you already feel the effects of elevation.
Yeah, because you're in Utah, right?
Yeah,
so you're like at 6,000. And don't quote me on this exactly, family, but I believe it's probably you end at 9. So it's like 3,000 feet of elevation gain and like 3.5 miles.
Okay.
So that's kind of like what you're doing in Snow Basin. Start at the bottom. I climb once. I get down. You brand the board so you don't forget.
Okay.
Because
yeah, of course.
you're going to forget.
You're only counting to 13. Right. Yeah, but your mind is
mind's toast 8 hours into this. Your mind's gone. So you brand. So I brand the board. Colin O'Brady is right next to me. Jeremy Newsom, Colin O'Brady. Mm-hmm. Like we're next to each other on the board. I look at it. He hadn't branded it yet. I was like, I'm a fucking hero.
You got it, dude.
I run up the mountain again. I come down. Brand it again. Still no Colin O'Brady brand. I'm like, what's this guy doing? Having tea time? Like, this is incredible. I go up the mountain again. Come down, brand it. Still no Colin O'Brady brand.
You're like, now I got this.
I'm going to murder this guy. and so, okay, I did 3. You got 10 more.
Yeah.
10 more. So I'm doing all of this until midnight. And at midnight, I had done 10 climbs by midnight. And I get down, I go up to the top of the gondola, I finish it. Guess who's at the very top? Colin O'Brady. Mm-hmm. And Colin O'Brady at this point has already done 12. So he's coming down.
So it's the tortoise and the hare analogy.
Yeah, of course, dude. I mean, to be fair, Colin O'Brady could do this event carrying a person on his back with one leg, right? Like, and having no water or no food. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's an incredible athlete. So he's already done 12. We're on a gondola. We're coming down the gondola together. It's just me and him.
Oh, so it's climb up, gondola down.
Correct. Yep. Climb up, gondola down.
Saving your knees. Mm-hmm. Got it.
Yep. Climb up, gondola down. And, the gondola rides maybe 10, 15 minutes. So we're going down and we're having this conversation. And I'm talking to him. I'm asking questions to him like, hey, man, are you ever going to run for president? Because I think he's so inspiring. Like, hey, man, are you, how did you poop when you were in Antarctica? And you were like, what's pooping look like? Yeah. And it was fascinating stories. But I'm asking him, I'm like, are you about to go up for your last climb? And he's like, nah, I think I'm just going to go take a nap. And I was like, got him. And now I'm 2 down. So I'm like, I'm climbing through the night. I'm not going to go to sleep. So that's exactly what I did. So I come down, I go do my 11th, come down, go do my 12th, come down.
And how long was each climb again? Like time wise?
It's about 2 hours, 3 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 to 3 hours at this point. The first one was like 45 minutes, but it gets slower. So I climb up, and now I'm at the very bottom. I'm starting my 13th climb. On the 13th climb, they put a big red bib on you, and so everyone's celebrating you as you're climbing. So I start my last climb at like 10, and I'm up about 800 feet up, and I hear the announcer, who has a very particular voice. Her name is Colleen. She's remarkable. And she goes, "Oh, Colin O'Brady just got up from his nap. He's going to start his last climb, ladies and gentlemen." I'm like, I am racing Colin O'Brady. Like he's starting his last lap. I'm on my last lap. This is the moment that I get to do something that I think is impossible.
And he still doesn't know you're racing.
No clue. No idea. Remember, he went to sleep at 12.
Yeah. That's almost his way of saying to you, I'm not racing you.
If there was
You
ever,
might think we're racing. Guess what, bro? We're not.
if there was ever a moment in time,
I'm going to take a nap.
the dude went to sleep he got a nice tight 6, you know, like he's fully rested, just had his coffee and his bagel. Like he's having a blast talking to people, signing autographs. Right. So yeah, we're definitely not racing, but we're going up this mountain and I can like see him and I can look back and I know who he is. Like, so we're just climbing up this thing. And I ended up beating Colin O'Brady on the race that he doesn't know that we're having. But that was a humongous accomplishment for me. And so
Yeah,
I ended
of course,
I ended up finishing it at 12 o'clock, which is 6 hours. You have 36 hours. I finished in 30 hours. And I just broke down. I broke down in tears. For the first time in my entire adult life, I broke down in tears of, I'm physically 100% absolutely toast. I gave every single thing that I had, and I actually did something.
Yeah.
I actually accomplished something that money couldn't buy. Because I was probably the 4th richest person on this mountain at this time.
Yeah.
Money can't buy a finish line. Don't matter how much money you got, you're going to have to do that work.
That's why this stuff calls to you.
Yeah. That's how this stuff calls to me. And so I'm there and I get there and I just love it, man. And I get addicted and I end up doing that mountain. I do a 290-209 every year. I'm one of 12 athletes who've ever done it more than 5 times. 2 years ago,
So it's an annual thing moving forward?
Yeah. I'm going to do it every year.
Okay.
And now I'm only one of 2 athletes who've ever done an Ironman, a 290-209, and wrote and published a best-selling book in the same year. And the only other person to do that is Jesse Isler and Colin O'Brady.
Okay. Wow, dude.
Yeah. So that was a couple years later.
No,
But
there's a lot of power in accomplishing things that there's only one way to do it, and putting in the work. Because I say it often on the show, and I'm not like, this isn't a fucking just a dramatic statement. I wouldn't sell my black belt knowledge for $10 million.
I believe you.
I wouldn't even consider it.
Yeah.
If I had to walk in here tomorrow and be the new guy, like, that black belt has given me everything. And there isn't a price. There is no price on it. It's the same thing with the stuff you're doing. Like, not only can money not buy it, but nothing else, no other mechanism can give you that experience.
Correct.
Period.
Correct. And I think for most people, they'll never push themselves into that uncomfortable zone. Because I have a belief that life is easy. I think that life is the greatest expression of love that we can have. And I choose to do hard things to remind myself of how easy my life is.
I love that.
When I go do these really, really hard challenges, I do it so that I get reminded. But number one, number two, you gotta get that Savage belt every so often, right?
Yeah.
You gotta go out and you gotta get recertified as an absolute weirdo.
Well, and like, sure, not to take it down the doomsday prepper rabbit hole, but right now, life as we know it, for the most part, in the modern society that we live in, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
We can bitch about, fucking tariffs or this politician, but
You have AC, dude.
that's what I'm saying. Overall,
You have electricity,
life is pretty good.
running water.
If life takes a turn for the worse, and here's the thing, read a history book.
It's coming.
Yeah, that's right. It's coming. Is it going to be in our lifetimes?
No.
I mean, who knows when it's going to happen? But just know, just being a physically formidable man that is capable, man, that's your ace in the hole.
Yeah.
Like, who knows what the future holds? But I know whatever the future holds, I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm good.
Yep.
Period.
All set.
I mean, you might go back to having to fucking fish to feed your kids, right?
Great.
Good. Got it.
Great fisherman.
And so it's like giving yourself that little piece of comfort, bro, that's a superpower, because now you don't live in fear.
Right. Right.
And I think a lot of people are stuck in the fear loop, and that's part of it. That's part of it.
Our greatest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our greatest fear is that we're powerful beyond measure. Right. So that measure is like, how do you know? You've never done it. Right. So it's this giant unknown. It's this big vacuum of no idea.
Yeah.
And that should terrify every single one of our listeners. So to this point, of the unknown. You asked earlier to wrap up, you said, how would someone go from where they're at now, wherever they are, to abundance, to prosperity, to wealth?
Well, bro, and I think that especially because of our audience, it's a lot of first responders, it's a lot of soldiers, it's a lot of young entrepreneurs, and it's guys that I'm sure there's plenty of listeners that are on a good path, a good trajectory, but there's a lot of guys that are in the transition phase. Man, I've been a firefighter for 10 years. I want something more. I got out of the military after 2 decades. What now? That kind of stuff. What is the path for them to be able to start pursuing and finding financial security?
Probably 3 answers. So answer number 1 is clarity. Clarity is our biggest mental superpower. Clarity is so crazy important. So clarity would look like, because you said the word financial, clarity is going to be, why do you want to make money? What's the purpose? How much is that? Get those 2 figured out, right? Get the number of how much. Now, for a lot of people, they might go, all right, dude, I just want to make the same amount of money I was making in my job. Incredible. All right, sweet. How many jobs are there that can pay you that amount that doesn't have to require you being a firefighter captain? Are there other jobs in this world? Do you want a job or not? Right? You're going to have to do something. You're going to have to create some type of value. Get extreme clarity on where you're going and why you want to go there. That's probably number 1. Number 2, man, books. Like read them. Read books and podcasts and listen to audibles. Like the amount of money that is in every single book, right? I mean, it's millions of dollars if you really care. I would read any book with the word money in the title, or wealth in the title, or millionaire in the title, or rich, right? Read those types of books. Spend some time on that. And then number 3, a really, really, really interesting leverage point. And I've got to go here. Stocks are really, really interesting. They're very, very fascinating for a lot of people, because I think the vast majority of your listeners will understand the market to a degree. They might not know all the inner workings, but every single listener knows if you buy something at 10 and you sell it at 30, you're doing great. If you repeat that exact same transaction numerous times, you're going to do incredible. And that is the ability to say, hey, listen, I had made as a firefighter captain, $125,000 a year. Awesome. I want to replace $125,000 a year so that I can travel with my wife and kids and go to Europe and go to Bali and go to Australia. And I want to make $125,000 a year semi-passively, because passive income doesn't exist. Right? Semi-passive income exists, but just pure 100% passive income.
Yeah, I guess you got to be doing something, right, to make it happen.
Yeah, it doesn't exist, right? And until you have tens of millions, and then it can exist. All right. So for where we're at, that transition period is you're going to have to study something that gives you the ability to make money from afar. Because every single one of your listeners, they all want to travel the world and be with their family. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Everyone wants that. That's financial freedom. I want to go to Bali next week. Cool, go. Okay, so I want to travel from afar. I need to make money from afar. So that looks like information arbitrage. So information arbitrage is essentially sales, right? Sales is an incredible skill set to learn, because if I know, I have this Rodecaster Pro that we're using, and I'm going to buy these and find out who needs them, and I'm going to go sell them. You can sell them from afar, right? You can call a friend on the phone now. It's 2025. You can call someone on the phone. I would like to sell you this item. I bought this item for 10. Do you want it for 30? Add a 0. Bought it for 100. Here's 300. I bought it for 1,000. Here's 3,000. That's information arbitrage. That's sales. That opportunity exists for every single person. Here's a fun fact. Did you know that you can sell airplanes without a license?
Nope.
Now, when I say not a license, I mean not a pilot license. I mean a license. You can just sell an airplane. You find a person that needs an airplane. You find a person that has an airplane. You connect those 2 dots together. You can charge whatever commission you think is reasonable. Crazy. And guess how much planes cost?
Yeah, a lot.
They're usually a couple $100,000. So,
well, I remember you were talking about that down in California, where you're like, you were connecting, was it contractors to investors? And you're like, dude, I'm getting a cut making a phone call.
Yeah.
Like,
Family, like, listen to that. Like, how many people in your life do you know that want to do something, and you have other people that have the resources to do it? Great example. Okay, we're in your office right now. That's in your gym. So when you built this gym, someone had to come out and do it. You didn't physically build this.
yep.
So imagine if you as a individual know of a company.
Shout out Spaney Buildings. That's who built this.
Thanks, Spaney.
Yep.
Appreciate you, champ. So in this situation, if I know Spaney and I call Spaney and go, hey, buddy, my boy Greg wants to build this gym. I'm going to connect the two of you. If you end up doing business, I'd love a 1% referral fee. So you guys do business, you build this for whatever, $400,000, I don't know, whatever it costs. 1% of $400,000 is $4,000. I made that for introducing two people and doing how much work? Phone call.
Yeah.
Now,
And like that sounds, oh yeah, well that's easier said than done. You do that all the time.
every day. That's actually how I make the majority of my money. Trading and then connecting people.
Yeah.
But I just add a zero. So instead of 400,000, I find things that cost 4 million and try to find someone who's buying something and someone who's selling something for 4 million and take 1 to 3%. 3% of 4 million is 120,000. That's not a bad payday,
Especially for a phone call.
especially for a phone call and a couple contracts, a couple documents in case either one of us get amnesia or get hit by a car. I want to make sure that everything is written down.
Yeah, but now with DocuSign, all that's easy. Click, 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 click. I didn't read any of it.
Yep. And it's all good, right? Everyone has their thing.
And this is what your signature looks like. Okay.
Thanks, DocuSign. I had no idea. But that's a fascinating realization for people, is that actually exists. So, but that is a skill set that any one of your listeners, all of your listeners can tap into, because they all have that ability. I mean, I would love for any of you guys to reach out to me. I'm happy to share how this works, but imagine that 10 of you want to buy an apartment complex. Cool. All 10 of you can get together and each put in $100,000 or $50,000. 50,000 times 10 is $500,000. That'll buy an apartment complex. Then you guys go and buy this apartment complex, and then one of you fixes it up, one of you manages it, right? You do those two things. Those people probably make a little bit more than everyone else who's just passively investing. And you sit around, and now you buy this apartment building. 500,000 will easily buy $2.5 million worth of real estate. And then that 2.5 million, you fix it up, you increase the rents. It's a good apartment complex. Now you sell it for 3.7 million. That's $1.2 million of profit that you get split among your 10 buddies.
Yeah.
So
I guess you're just thinking, like you get back to that, like just coming up with ideas.
Come up with ideas. Yeah. I mean, it is that simple, because money exists and the scale and the magnitude that most people can't fathom. For example, like Tesla. Tesla moves $86 billion a day in the U.S. stock market.
Wait, 86 billion with a B.
With two L's, actually. So 86 billion, that's $250,000 every 9/10 of a second. Like, it is unimaginable amounts of money. That's $250 million every 3 minutes. Like, it's wild. So imagine, what if your brain just said, how can I capture any percent of that number?
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking pick a percent.
0.0001%.
Okay. So if you did that on $86 billion.
Well, don't ask me to do that math. That's
it's
beyond.
$860,000.
All right, there you go. Yeah.
Right? 0.000001 is $86,000. And add another zero, that's $8,600. All of those numbers are great.
Yeah. None of that sucks.
None of that sucks, dude. So again, that's one stock on one market on one exchange.
I was behind a Tesla the day before yesterday, and it said "fuck Elon" sticker on the back of their Tesla, and I was just like, "Well, you
Drive off a ditch,
You're
dude.
still driving it."
Yeah. Just don't hit the brake. Just turn your wheel hard to the right. You POS. That sucks. Yeah, but that's the thing, man. Get clarity. Go study. Interact and spend. If you have more than $100,000, for anyone who's listening, you're in a different echelon of human beings, because now you have more dollars than you have days left to live. You have to start figuring out a way to spend that money to accelerate your time, because you're going to die, right? We're all going to die. In 100 years, every single person here is toast.
Which is a crazy concept.
Crazy concept. Whole nother podcast discussion.
Yeah.
We're all dead in 100 years. Spend your money now if you have more than 100,000 to start accelerating your learning curve. If you have less than 100,000, all good. Get your paper up, boo-boo. Stack some cash. Save a little bit. Stop going out and eating, like doing the basic things to really, really just dive in and start getting that money up to 100,000.
Are you okay if I put the link to the real life trading free courses?
Please.
Okay, so we'll
100%.
put that in the show notes below, and that is a bunch. I mean, what is it? 20 courses or 15 courses that are free,
Yeah, it's essentially like a master's degree in the stock market for free.
and the day we met, you said, "Hey, here's the link." You text it to me. I went home. Me and Jenny opened it up, burned through those courses, and
Were they good? You like them?
dude, it's awesome. Plus, it's your energy. I like the ones I like how you're interacting with the audience.
Yeah.
Like, dude, the one where you're like, I'm not getting the enthusiasm that I think we need to have in this room. I bet if I said the most enthusiastic person in this room gets $100,000, it'd change things. Boom. And you're like fucking whoa, yelling as loud as you can because you saw a candle appear where you wanted it to appear.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the level of enthusiasm you have to have around what you're doing.
Yeah.
If you don't have that enthusiasm around what you're doing, why are you doing it?
Stop doing it.
You know?
That's simple.
And the point in saying that is you're making the courses fun and engaging, but that's your personality. So of course you are, right? But then where the change really occurred for us is did the free courses, which me and Jenny did together. And then she enrolled in your coaching program. And you said it last night to the team. It's like Jenny made $30,000, $60,000
She's doubled her money
in 12 weeks.
in 12 weeks.
Under your tutelage, under your watchful eye, because that's what you guys are doing during. Obviously, it's an instruction course, but you're also basically screen sharing and watching people trade, and
Making sure they do it right.
making sure they do it right.
Yeah.
And I like how you say, like, dude, I'm not going to tell you what to do. Like, find companies that inspire you, find companies you use, find companies you believe in. That's not my job to tell you necessarily, but it is my job to show you.
Mm-hmm.
And bro, like, she's a savage. She gets it now.
Your girl kills it.
You should have seen her on the drive home last night. She goes, I didn't know about the paper trading until yesterday. And now she's addicted to it. And she, made $37,000 yesterday morning?
Yeah.
And again, that paper trading means it's practice.
Pure fake, pure simulation. But when you can simulate something
And get really good at it.
and get really good at it, you're also going to start feeling certain ways and noticing certain ways. And it's a great way to practice. And I tell people all the time, hey, how would you like to learn without losing any money at all, risking any money at all? And how good is that for kids who maybe
Well, you're going to meet my oldest today.
can't wait.
And she's going to start doing this stuff.
Yeah. And it's going to change her entire life because she's going to know how fast money can be made. And when people realize how quickly money can be made, they're not going to settle for making slow money. They're going to start learning how to make money quickly. And then speed starts coming into the formula. And it's just the greatest thing ever. It's a life-changing opportunity.
Well, and that's what I told my oldest. I said, hey, Si, when I want you to take this serious, and we're gonna purchase the course for round 2, and you're gonna learn. And she's in school, so she won't be as present as Jenny, obviously. But I was like, if you can build a skill set, because she's as smart as Jenny, her brain is it's nuts, dude. If you want to work in a restaurant so you can interact with people and learn about service, and like you're doing that as passion, not as out of need. That's what I want for my kids. Like, it's not just, get rich and not do anything. No, it's go do everything. But guess what? You still have this foundation of security
Boom.
that you know you're good.
Boom.
And then go work in the coffee stands and like go do the things.
Totally.
You know?
Absolutely.
She was a camp counselor last year. Like, continue to do all that stuff.
Just know that you have all the choices and options and
Yeah.
and make the right decisions. Yeah, man.
Dude, I love it.
So pumped.
The other thing that I think is important to highlight, I highlighted to the team last night, is Jenny's course, and it's an $11,000 buy-in.
Yeah.
she said there's 14 people that are doing the course with her, and every single one of them has made more than the buy-in price. So it's like that there you go.
Mm-hmm.
They're basically making money to attend your course.
Yeah.
And that's fucking powerful.
When you pay attention, man.
Yeah.
And the more you pay attention. And I've just learned that in my whole life. And it's I want to help people become their best. And if you commit to something and you say, I'm going to be my best.
Yeah.
Prove it.
Well, bro, that's the thing, man. Like, we're making pretty good money now, but we're also, I mean, we just built the new building and there's a lot of expenses. So we don't have a lot of liquid cash we're sitting on. So to take her course, she put it on one of her credit cards.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, investing in yourself, though,
Yep.
you're not going to lose.
Yeah, never will. Never will.
All right, so two things. Anything that you would like to wrap up with? Anything that we didn't miss that you think is important, or any words of wisdom that you always share? And then after that, I have a gift for you.
Thanks, dude. Words of wisdom. I think you said it so well, and that's really going to stand out to me for the rest of my life. Love yourself. That's what this whole journey is about.
Mm-hmm.
This journey is about self-love. And everything else will probably start falling into place once you take that spotlight and turn it on your heart and just love on yourself and be kind to yourself and say nice words to you, to yourself. Do all of that. Money amplifies everything it touches.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you have fear, anger, depression, sadness, anxiety now, and you make a bunch more money, guess what's going to get amplified? Fear, anxiety, frustration, right? All the negatives, all that's going to get amplified. So if you can start removing that now, that might be the reason that you don't want a lot of money, because subconsciously, you know, if I have a lot more money,
It's going to amplify.
it's going to amplify all that. So get rid of that now and then go soar. And then you won't have to do all the things that I did. Make the money, lose it, make the money, lose it, make the money, lose it. You'll just make the money and then you'll keep the money.
Yeah.
Because now you have the energy of you love yourself. Because I didn't love myself in all my 20s and I hated God. And me and God fought a lot. And guess who wins at that? Right?
Probably not Jeremy Alexander Newsom.
No, I'm a white belt, right? So, and God is not. So I lost every single time. But it wasn't me and God fighting. It was just me and me fighting.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously.
Yep.
So it was this whole awareness. And so to your point, man, love yourself and everything else is going to start falling into place.
I love it, dude. All right. Well, I'm excited to give you this. And that's representative of your birth year.
Yeah.
It was 88, right?
Yeah.
I nailed it.
Dude. But did you know that ahead of time?
I had underlying suspicion. I did some math. I did some second grade math.
Yeah.
And I was right, but I had to confirm it.
Well, you know what I love about this too is yesterday I bought 888 shares of NVIDIA at $88.88.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. I love numbers like that, man. Like if I get a chance to do that, I will. Oh, this is going to be freaking sick. This is going to be so sick. All right.
It's going to be sicker than you imagine.
I always get nervous when I do this stuff. All right. This is the best. All right. So this is for the listeners. If you're listening, this is like a
Little burlap sack.
it's a burlap sack. I was
Yeah.
going to say like it's a twine and capsule.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. No one is coming to save you. Branded with your brand. Oh, yes. On the back, it's got 88.
So it's the Endless Endeavor coin with our slogan and our logo
Yes,
in pure silver.
Pure silver.
And we made 100 of them, and that's it.
And I get one?
And you get number 88 because that's your number, bro.
Oh, dude.
You're my money guy, dude.
Thank you, man. Thank you. This means so much to me.
I love that.
This is awesome. And I love silver and I love holding money.
Uh-huh.
And
we talked about that. That's why I was excited to give it to you, man.
Dude, yes, I love this. Like this is so like Jenny has that coin that she has like that wore off.
Yeah.
This is gonna be this one for me.
I love it.
Number 88 out of 100.
Well, bro, I know you have a meeting coming up. You're a busy guy. And knowing how busy you are, the fact that you allocated 2 or 3 days to come up here, hang out with me, my wife, my team, do the show, I'm very grateful for that. I love spending time with you. I love sharing energy with you. And I know the listeners will feel that too. That's why I was really excited to do this. Man. So thank you. And just know anytime you're in town, my house is your house, my gym is your gym, and we can do follow-up episode up as many times as you want, bro. I love having you here.
Likewise, man. Thank you. It's been an honor.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, bro.